All right, everybody, how we doing? How we doing right now? What's going on? Y'all doing okay? I'm pretty on time. This is what? 5 minutes late? Less than? Barely? 5 minutes behind? That's pretty good in my book. I think that's pretty okay. All right, everybody, what are we out? Okay, how's it going? So first of all, I've got a few questions. Triple A. This is no. If I change the time, it's no longer late. If I change the time, that's the new schedule. Tom says, Morj, I'm begging you, please make it the slightest bit watchable for us. If I do, then it doesn't work. It is watchable. You guys can see it. It's just the only things I'm doing to it are I'm mirroring it, so it's left to right. That's not a big deal. And I'm making it very small, but it's still clear what it is. And I'm flipping it upside down, but that's just like mirroring it again, and we agree that mirroring it isn't a big deal. And I'm making it a tiny bit more transparent, like 50% or so. That's all. It's still essentially, you can still essentially, as long as you can tell what I'm reacting to, I feel like it's okay, right? Bot style says, bro's gonna hate how they showed it, LMAO. Everything I've seen, like, in terms of people tweeting about it online has been overwhelmingly positive, right? Okay, maybe I can, I think the one thing I'll move it. I think I can move it. That's one thing I can do. Because right now, the last thing that I do, which is pretty bad, is here. Let me show you guys. Right, this is what I do. It's this one. Right, so it's here, so it's going to be really small, right? So I'm going to move it. I think I can move it to show the full thing. That's probably the biggest thing I can do. That's the biggest adjustment that I can make. So what's this? Yeah, I can move it. So you guys will be able to see where I'm at in it, right? Can you guys hear me still? Is the audio okay? Yeah, audio seems like it's still okay. I'm going to mute the desktop audio for these things. Desktop audio gone. Just to be safe. Yeah, desktop audio gone. Then if I do this version, yeah, desktop audio is also gone. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, we're going to be watching. Let's get the stream likes up to 100 real quick. JM Gomez 1017 says Toei saving Oda's legacy again. I mean, this was a cool chapter in the manga as well. He's so scared of Toei, LMAO. Yeah, I do. I am scared of Toei. I'm terrified of Toei. Shanks fans just salty. Look, at the end of the day, I personally think that, like, Andrew Austin says you put watermark over it, it helps. That could be good. I could do that. I should make a note for that. Here, hold on. Put watermark on video. On reactions. You think watermark is all it takes? I feel like it'd be more than a watermark, right? Okay, guys, don't spoil how it works. Don't spoil how it is. I'm very curious. I'm very, very curious because people were just going crazy over this. I also think that you got to understand from Toei's perspective, they're not going to care about the power scaling that much. Like, they're trying to give a spectacle, right? So it's not like, I don't think they're actively thinking like, oh, we got to make it like this much so it doesn't overshadow Shanks' thing or something like that. It's just every episode that they get something really big to work with, they're going to try and make it a big spectacle, and that's just going to be the main focus, right? Gilfy, thanks for bringing Yonko to your member for 4 months, which is why, again, the anime is not canon. It's just, it's an adaptation. That's it. But Gilfy, thanks for bringing Yonko to your member for 4 months. Hey, Morj, I recently binged all of Chainsaw Man and watched your analysis, and it's honestly amazing. Thank you. Any plans on doing another one for part 2? I will do another one for part 2 once part 2 ends. Most people, I'm happy you enjoyed the analysis. Most people who watch my Chainsaw Man analysis do say that it's arguably the best analysis I've ever done. And if you see the comments, most people say it's the best Chainsaw Man analysis ever done. This is not my viewership. If you go through the comments there, a lot of people are people who have never fucking heard of me. And they're like, who the fuck is this guy and why is he making such an elaborate analysis? But I believe it's the best Chainsaw Man analysis out there I've seen because most other Chainsaw Man analyses are very, very shallow and say some vague-ass shit that has no meaning. The problem is that mine got age restricted, which killed its growth right off the bat. and it was growing so good. I've bitched about this on stream so many times, but it still hurts every time I think about it, because it is honestly probably the best analysis video that I've probably ever done, and I genuinely feel, and from the comments and reception, that it's the best Chainsaw Man analysis out there, period. I would like it to be out there more so that more people are able to get good Chainsaw Man analysis, but, it is just what it is. It got age restricted, which means no more growth for the video, which just hurts. It is what it is. Okay. I'm excited to watch. We're going to watch once the stream gets to 100 likes. Hayo says there's a Wano video tomorrow. No, the Wano video is coming, though. The Wano video is coming. Basim El Madawi, thanks for the 5. Unrelated, what if Devon makes herself look like Luffy to lure Shirahoshi to Blackbeard, and that's... To lure Shirahoshi to Blackbeard, and that's when Fishman Island is destroyed? Enjoy this ep, BTW. Oh, that's interesting. That's a really interesting idea. I still think Fishman Island will be destroyed. Oh, shit. No, that is an interesting twist. That would be an interesting twist. If Fishman Island's destroyed by a fake Luffy. I always assumed that it would involve the destruction of the Red Line. But that is a really, really cool twist to throw into it. Remix King, thanks to the 2. Any chance for more Poke React tonight? That's a great question. So, there were 2 ways I was thinking about this stream. The 2 ways I was thinking about this stream, because normally, what do we do on Mondays when there's a break week? At the start of a break week. What do we do normally? JM Gomez says, has got it. You doing predictions this stream. Normally we do the predictions. Right now we got a really fucking good episode to work with. What I was thinking was we begin this with the reaction, then we shift into some predictions for the latter half of the stream. Because the reaction, it's just going to be the episode, right? So it's nothing crazy long. So we can start with the reaction, then we can shift into predictions. So we still are doing the prediction section of the stream. And, yeah, we could do that. At the same time, I know people want other reactions to stuff like the Pokemon Adventures. So I was playing with the idea of, because it's a break week, maybe we do the stream, on Thursday. I might do a quick poll for that, like, instead, because there's not going to be a chapter, so we could do chapter 1023 predictions. Isis1155 says, why, from a YouTube perspective, can't you re-upload? So I theoretically could. If I did, I would not do it from the Manga Morj channel. If I re-uploaded it would have to be edited, so blurring stuff out. I assume gore and some nudity or whatever is in Chainsaw Man. The risky thing is that that's not a brand new channel. It's basically a dead channel, like it's an empty channel, right? It's just got a few videos. So if I took it down and re-uploaded it, it's unlikely that off the bat it would get the same traction, because most people who are the first viewer, like people who already saw it, are unlikely to watch it again, right? So my initial core, first 5K views or something like that, 10K views, are people from my channel that I pushed over there. It's unlikely that they're going to watch it again, right? From there, it skyrocketed pretty quickly and started getting lots of other outside views, but then those people are not going to watch it again, right? So I've already eaten into some of its potential launching growth, and the launching trajectory matters a lot. What I could do is upload it on the main Morj channel, but I would only do that if I'm taking a big hard commitment step to diversifying the main Morj channel to include other anime and manga, which I'm still hesitant to do for a variety of other reasons, basically. But it's something that's been on my mind for a minute. If I were to do that, I think I would do something like launch with Chainsaw Man Part 1, that video, and then drop a Chainsaw Man Part 2 video to go right along with it or something like that. I don't know. Marcel Beans, thanks for being a Pirate King chairman for 7 months. Let me apologize real quick. Pirate King to your podcast. It's going to be recorded. It's going up Wednesday. Wednesday is the official day that it's going up. So there's still time to get it to get your submissions in if you want to get your submissions. This weekend just became very tight, but I still have plenty of time to record it. Tomorrow is a fairly open day, so tomorrow I'll be able to, at my leisure, record it over the course of the day, respond to everybody's questions, very, very in-depth, talk about everybody's topics that they want me to talk about. And yeah, Pirate King podcast will go up Wednesday, so sorry for the slight delay. But yeah, it's coming soon. And that means if you're not a Pirate King member, there were still some people messaging like, hey, literally this morning, hey, do I still have time to get in the Pirate King podcast submission? Yes, there is still time. So if you're interested in that, then please go ahead. So Marcel Beans, thanks for being a Pirate King tier member. I hope you got your submission in for the podcast. To be honest, Garb's Galaxy Impact is over-animated. It's nearly something completely different than what happened in the manga. Interesting. I mean, that's how a lot of people felt during Wano, during the Onigashima battle, in that a lot of things, it became too DBZ, too aura. even before the Onigashima battle, I think a lot of people felt like it was becoming too much aura-centric and stuff like that. And I do think they toned it down, but I don't know. Let's see what they do here. Morj sold me Fent. Thanks for the 2. Always love the name. And thanks for your 5th super ever. Say something bad about Rock Lee versus Gaara. Something bad about Rock Lee versus Gaara. Nothing. It's like one of my favorite anime fights, period. Naruto has a lot of great fights. The dropping the weights moment is to date the best dropping the weights, like best taking off your weights moment in anime and manga ever, and I don't think it'll ever be topped. What's there bad to say about Rock Lee versus Gaara? It's a fucking great fight. It has a tragic ending. The ending is brutally emotional. It takes you through such a roller coaster of emotions. Like, the matchup on paper in itself is cool. Pure taijutsu versus a guy that basically never lifts a finger himself. His sand does everything for him, right? So it's like this overwhelming ninjutsu ability, which is really stemming from his tailed beast, retcon tailed beast, right? Versus this guy who's just taijutsu, right? Gaara, up till then, had been really built up as this unbeatable sort of force, at least among the Genin. And Rock Lee was kind of like, he's really strong, but how strong can he really be, like, with just taijutsu? So the build-up was immaculate. The matchup concept was perfect. The reactions throughout it, like the way they sort of built up to the really hype moment of Lee dropping his weights, all of that build up was perfect. The moment he dropped the weights and just the general impact that it had on everybody watching and how mind blowing it was, and even Kakashi going like, "Guy, isn't this going like a bit too far?" Right? All of that was amazing, and then the actual movement that we were hit with and the animation we were hit with after he moved. Post dropping his weights, that was fucking beautiful. The fact that Rock Lee, of all people, was the first person to hit Gaara, cause him pain, and then just the power-ups that kept going up. So it went from like hype to really dramatic and emotional as Rock Lee's using his power-ups that are really sacrificing, not sacrificing, but like pushing his body beyond its limits, what it should do. That was so cool. And then the tragic ending and like Rock Lee's emotions and what Gaara's doing to him and everything like that. And despite all that, Rock Lee still falling short. It was just a really beautiful fight. It's a fucking awesome fight. What's there bad to say about Rock Lee versus Gaara? I think there's nothing wrong. It's not like it went on the perfect length. It wasn't even like too long or too short or anything like that. It might still be my favorite fight from... I think it's probably my favorite fight from Naruto. There's a lot of fights from Naruto I really enjoy, though. I love Naruto versus Neji. Naruto versus Neji is one of my favorite fights. Naruto versus Gaara might actually be my favorite fight in Naruto. Naruto versus Pain, I didn't like how they did it in the anime as well, but in the manga I thought it was awesome. Naruto's got some great fights. Naruto versus Gaara was very emotional for me, as was Naruto versus Neji, but Naruto versus Gaara really got me pumped. Okay, I should be doing the reaction in a second. The Senate, thanks for the 5, and thanks for your 3rd super ever. What are your thoughts on One Piece video games like the Pirate Warrior games, and maybe can we get a playthrough one day? Just chat and chill. So that's an interesting idea. Like, I'm sure people enjoy me doing a One Piece game playthrough. The thing is that I could maybe do One Piece Odyssey. I'm actually going to write that down. That's the game that came out, right? One Piece Odyssey? Or is it, no, I'm thinking of Super Mario Odyssey. What's the new One Piece game that came out? New One Piece game, not Pirate Warriors or whatever. Yeah, One Piece Odyssey, right? It is One Piece Odyssey? That open world game, right? Here's the thing. So I've said this many times before, I'm not that much of a gamer. I've become more of a gamer now in recent years, in the sense that I've been playing the FromSoft games. That's it, right? Before that, I mostly just played Nintendo games growing up as a kid, because that's all I had. I don't play shooters. I don't play... Like, the only fucking single-player games I played are fucking, like, Zelda, Nintendo games, stuff like that, and then the fucking FromSoft games. I tried God of War, didn't like it. The 2018 one. Just not my thing, right? So I'm not that much of a gamer. So for me, when there's already... Like, I already don't really... Like, it takes a lot for me to actually sit down and choose to play a single-player game. Like, I'm playing Bloodborne right now. So when I'm already kind of picky about playing a game, and I know the One Piece games are generally not that great, it's very unlikely that I'm going to sit down and be like, okay, I want to dedicate some of my free time to playing a One Piece game. Playing a One Piece video game for stream, that's something I could do, because, like, I'm not the type of person who's going to enjoy the game just because it's taking after a series that I love, right? I need to actually enjoy the game itself first and foremost, and then I can appreciate the fact that, hey, I'm playing as Luffy or the Straw Hats, yada, 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 right? So maybe playing it for stream, that'd be good. Because one of the reasons I don't play other single-player games on stream is because when I'm playing a single-player game that I enjoy, I generally want to be in my own comfort zone, just playing that by myself, enjoying that by myself. Like, if it's something I'm gonna actually enjoy, I don't want to be doing it for stream, because then I feel like I'm working or entertaining to some degree, right? It takes me out of it. I just want to be on my own. But the One Piece games, because I don't think I'll enjoy them that much on my own, maybe doing it for stream could be fun. So I'm gonna jot that down as an idea. That could be fun. I think that could be fun. And that could make for some fun stream content that's kind of ongoing. So that's a good idea, man. Akash Panda says, Morj missed my super chat. No, I didn't. Let's hold on a second here. Oh, I did. My bad, Akash Panda. Thanks for the 5, man. Will you check out One Piece Gulag by Huncho619 after Galaxy Impact? Also, WannaVid question. Will there be anything new for longtime stream viewers? Yes, I think a lot of new stuff, because there's many times that I start talking on stream about something Wano related, and I'm like, this is going to be too long to explain, or I can't go too in-depth into it here, or frame it in as detailed a manner or as structured a manner as I would like here on stream live, because it requires lots of panels and examples. Therefore, I will save it for the video. So I think if you've been a long-time stream watcher, I think there's been several times you could probably recall that I'm like, I'm not going to get into it here. This needs to be fleshed out in a more structured manner. Structured manner always refers to the Wano video. So yes, One Piece Gulag by Huncho619. Okay, so we got the Remix King thing. We got One Piece Gulag. Oh, the comedy thing by Huncho. Is that right? Okay, so let's do the reaction first. I still want to try and get in. I got to do the poll. If we're doing predictions right now, we will probably shift just into predictions. If we're doing the predictions on Thursday, then I'm probably going to spend more time just doing reactions to other things this one. All right, give me a second here. Old Faithful, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 15 months, man. Hey, Morj, what do you think happens with Saturn now that he's left alone, but everyone is leaving? So one of the things that was mentioned by one of my patrons that was actually talked about, a Pirate King level patron, that I talked about in last week's chapter review during the Voice of the People segment, was this being an opportunity for Saturn to maybe be replaced with the Blackbeard Pirates or something. I saw some comments arguing why that can't be the case. I think we just kind of got to wait and see. But it is very, very interesting that this is a very specific situation where Saturn is just there by himself with nobody else around. So I don't fucking know what Saturn could possibly do solo. Because he doesn't have a shot at taking on the Strahd Pirates. He can't even handle Luffy by himself, you know? I know we're at 100 likes. We're going to start in a second. Growth Stonks, thanks for the 5. Hey, Morj, have you ever noticed the Zunisha statues carved throughout Ennis lobby in Chapter 408, page 19, and Chapter 379, page 3? Whoa, what are you talking about? Here, we're going to pull this shit up real quick to find out what's being referred to right here. Give me a second. Zunisha statues. Chapter 408, page 19. That's interesting. I've never heard of any of this. 408, page 19. So all the way towards the end, I imagine. Am I crazy? I'm not seeing any statues. Is this what you want me to look at? I'm not seeing anything, man. Maybe I gotta look a little closer. Oh, Zunisha statues. Oh, elephant statues. Interesting. I don't know if that means anything. That is a cool point, though. Elephant statues. 379, page 3. Let's see if this is recurring. Hold on. So we're calling this page 1, or is this page 1? Page 2. These are not Zunisha statues, right? Okay. I don't really... Oh, here. Yeah, is there any significance to that? I have no idea. I have sincerely no idea. That is interesting. I don't know why there's elephant statues there. It could have just been an aesthetic choice. Eric J.O., thanks for the 2. Sup, Morj. Everyone remember to like the stream. Yeah, everyone, let's get the stream likes to 150 real quick. 150. 150. I'm almost caught up here. Already saw Marcel Beans. Already saw this. Already saw this. That was a really interesting point about the elephants, though. I have no idea if there's any significance. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know you've commented before, so I don't know how to say it. Joao Porto, I'm just going to go with English phonetical, sorry. Joao Porto, thank you very much for the 20, though. Thank you very, very, very much. Why did Vegapunk insist that people turn on their Denden Mushi TVs? My only guess is for people to see him bow and apologize, but it feels kind of weird considering the risk involved in the 10-minute delay. Yeah, do you guys think that there's some final aspect of this that of Vegapunk's stream that has yet to be, Vegapunk's broadcast that has yet to actually be shown? Because it really, really didn't matter. It really, really didn't matter. Tutorial bosses, we'll start watching at 100, like, yeah, don't worry. It just looks like a regular elephant as Yokai Gota. Yeah, but so does Zunisha, I feel like. An old-ass elephant. Yeah, I don't know why Vegapunk did that. Maybe there is some final last part of the speech that'll go off. I mean, Emeth is still around, right? So if Emeth's still around, some final part of the speech can still go off, right? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe there's some final failsafe that Vegapunk's got in mind. I like to believe that something is going to matter. I know Justin Holland's been suggesting for a long time, like, it's to show the Gorosei in their demonic forms. And Saturn's still there, so maybe seeing Saturn in his demonic form, something will matter. Lee Pease, thanks for the 5. You talking about Rock Lee? Because we just talked about that. Think about this. When Roger met Odin with Whitebeard, he had a plan that was a tie. Is it safe to say a tie? When Roger met Odin with Whitebeard, he had a plan that was a tie. Do you mean a fight that was a tie? Is it safe to say that a tie isn't life or death like his fights with Garp? Fact. I think it's just complicated. I think the bigger thing is, what does the author actually want us to take away from this? Does Oda have the time to set up a fight where Roger and Whitebeard would be legitimately trying to fight to the death? Does he have time to set up a scenario like that where two characters who have no real reason to kill each other would want to kill each other? I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, you're just trying to get to what's the author's intent, right? He's setting up a fight for Roger and Whitebeard to kind of, it seems like, to imply that they're basically equal or evenly matched. I think that's all that author intent really implies there. It's consistent with the phrasing of Roger and Whitebeard's dynamic throughout the series as them essentially being equals who stand above everybody else in the pirate world. You know, like, you could say that, well, it wasn't technically this or that. I mean, I myself sometimes argue that, look, it's been stated by Garp that Roger was at his best when his crew needed to be defended. That's when Roger turned into a demon. I don't think we saw that version of Roger when he fought Whitebeard, obviously. You could argue, though, that, you know, Whitebeard really got fucking pissed when it was, like, when Ace died, and, like, we saw him at his best when that came out, right? So I think ultimately it's just, does Oda really care who's stronger between Roger and Whitebeard? I think in Oda's mind it's just supposed to be, yeah, these two basically represent this specific level of strength, and they're at that level of strength. Like, who's stronger, you can argue that till you know, the cows come home or whatever the fuck. PG24, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 3 months. Sup, Morj, how's Bloodborne? I'm in the Old Hunters DLC. I'm gonna keep this fucking short because I know people don't want to fucking hear about Bloodborne. I'm at the Old Hunters DLC. If you want to hear me talk more about Bloodborne, I talk in great depth about it on the Pirate King podcast because people always fucking ask me questions about it. But I'm gonna keep it short here just for interest. That's why the Pirate King podcast is really good, by the way, because I don't have to move things along fast for stream. I love Bloodborne. I just started the Old Hunters DLC, just started it. I have done everything, including Nightmare. I beat Nightmare of Mensis. I'm past that. So the last thing that I need to do is go talk to German. From what I read, I'm not supposed to do that just yet. If I want to play the Old Hunters DLC. So I'm doing Old Hunters DLC first, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the final boss stuff, I think. Also, I'll save this for Pirate King podcast. But yeah, I'm really, really liking it. I think that for some time I felt like, okay, this is going to be like the perfect Souls game. Like, it felt kind of like it was perfect for some period of time. Now I feel like it's not, like, perfect's a strong word. I still feel like it's not, like, there's a vision there of, like, a perfect FromSoft game that's close. Like, there's so many things about Dark Souls that I love, but I felt like, obviously, second half, it really fell off. bosses weren't as polished as later on, things like that. There's so many things about Dark Souls 3 I love. Like, the latter half is amazing, and the DLC is amazing, and the close to the story and the lore is amazing, and the bosses are great. But a lot of the levels are nowhere near as good as Dark Souls 1. A lot of the first half is genuinely ass, in my opinion. Not as bad as Dark Souls 1's second half, but not good. Dark Souls 3's first half is not good, in my opinion. And then Bloodborne, it felt like the most consistently good out of the two. Bosses overall better than Dark Souls 1, but still not as good as Dark Souls 3, and just some levels are just not as good. Like, the consistency's still just not quite there. It's still really, really good overall, and probably still... I need to finish the game to see if I put it above Dark Souls 3 as my favorite FromSoft game. It was on that trajectory, though. The last thing I'll just say is that, at least with Dark Souls 1, I feel like the first half is amazing, and then it's a fall off. Dark Souls 3, it's like the first half is weak, but then it gets better and better and better. With Bloodborne, it's a bit more, it's up and down a bit more, right? And there's levels even later on, there's a lot of phenomenal levels, and there's levels in areas even later on in the game that I don't think are as strong. So I'm almost like, well, overall, consistently it's better, but maybe I'd even prefer something like Dark Souls 3, where it's weak and then slowly just gets stronger and stronger and stays on an upwards trajectory. I'm not sure. I kind of got to play out the game and see how I feel about that. I don't know. Raizu Anime says the boss roster in Bloodborne base game was so mid 90% of the time. Yeah, and the tricky thing, it still has some good bosses, but the tricky thing is that if I'd done it in sequential order, so if I'd done Dark Souls 1 and then Bloodborne, I would probably enjoy the Bloodborne bosses more. But because I've already played Sekiro and Dark Souls 3, so it feels like the Bloodborne bosses so far are not as good, you know? But, you know, it is what it is. And I know Old Hunters has some phenomenal bosses that I'm looking forward to. Okay, almost caught up. Lee Peace, thanks for the 5. Think about this. No, we covered this. Covered this. Hongshu, me. Hope you're enjoying mod. Have you ever thought of doing an analysis of FromSoft game stories? I think it would be right up your alley. I genuinely have, but it would require a whole new YouTube channel. I genuinely have. If I'm being honest, I don't think I'm the best. I'm not even close to the best. Not even close to the best person. I'm going to be on the noob end of the spectrum in terms of breaking down FromSoft stories, because I think you take the average, if you take the average hardcore FromSoft fan, they know way more about the stories and lore than I do. I know enough. Like, I've watched a lot of videos and stuff like that. I know enough, but there's still lots of things that are referenced that I don't even know about. And one of the biggest things is I never give a fuck about NPCs and their quest lines in these stories, so I'm kind of missing large parts of, like, smaller plot lines and stuff that can even happen in the games, right? I would love to do analyses on the FromSoft games in general, and kind of... there's a lot of similarities I notice in terms of how they do story structure, how they do game structure, like how they do certain acts in the stories, like remarkable similarities in terms of what Miyazaki seems to be a good beginning game, mid-game point, end game, closing out the game, to the point that there's strong parallels between bosses even across different series, like Sekiro, Dark Souls 3 and stuff. So there's a lot that I have to say, but it wouldn't be as much story-based. Like, lore-based, I'll say. Like, nitty-gritty lore-based. Brim, thanks for the 5. Hey, Morj, been watching your videos for years now. Love the vids. Keep up the good work. Thanks a lot, Brim. I really, really appreciate it. Akash Bendising, Morj, Devon, and Augur have left the island. It's unlikely they'll turn back for no reason. They have no way of knowing that Saturn is alone. I don't know, but Lafitte is still there, as far as we know, right? So Lafitte is kind of the missing thread. So couldn't Lafitte kind of just let him know? I don't know. Okay. B, thanks for the 5. Just finished Lies of P, and it's the best Souls-like game by far. Comes behind Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, Sekiro, in my opinion. Highly recommend for people looking for more Souls. I mean, if I do Elden Ring and then Demon Souls and I'm still searching for something, I'd do Lies of P, maybe. Yeah. Okay, all right. I think we're good for the moment. Let's get to this reaction. Wait, I also want to do a quick poll. 2 quick polls, all right? First poll... because I heard my editor watches the videos, or he watches the anime episodes, so he can kind of tell me nowadays if it's like, what's up. He was saying that the first half isn't that good. Should I watch the full episode, or just second half, or just Garp's part? This is what we're doing as the first poll. Full episode, just second half, just Garp's part. I don't really know what just second half means, so you guys will have to guide me. Also, let's get the stream likes to 200 real quick. We're almost there. Cappuccino says you should make a tier list for the bosses after you're done with them. I think I'm honestly going to do, after I beat Bloodborne, before I go into Elden Ring, because Elden Ring's very long, I'm going to do a tier list of, like, combined Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, and Sekiro bosses, basically. Okay, a lot of people... Alright, I'm going to do the compromise, because a lot of people don't think the full episode is worth it. I'm going to do a compromise, and just... I'll let you guys vote a little bit longer. If we do just the second half, that opens me up to reacting to more outside random stuff. I also want to do the poll. Let me do the... Okay, I'll do this other poll right now. And then we'll run this first poll back. All right? Hold on. Let me do this poll. Okay? Do you want to do predictions competition after episode reaction? Or more random clip? Or more... random video watching reaction, or react to random videos. Okay, wait, no. After episode, or do a Thursday stream for that. 1, 1, 2, 3 predictions competition. Yeah, that's the next chapter, right? It's 1, 1, 2, 3. What just came out? 1122 just came out, right? Yeah. Okay. Keep predictions competition for third. Okay. This, I'm not holding myself to this, because I have to kind of weigh how time looks after the episode reaction is done. Okay, but I'm just kind of getting how people feel about it. Akash Panda giving me advice, watch 7:35 to 12:10. Wait, what? That's where it doesn't end with Galaxy Impact? Oh, this is tight. This is very tight. Because it's close to 50-50, what we're going to do is watch the episode and, yeah, see how we feel from there. Watch the episode, see how we feel from there. Here's what I'm going to do episode-wise, okay? Here's what I'm going to do episode-wise. I'm going to watch the episode. You said watch 7:35 to 12, so I'm only going to watch till Galaxy Impact. And I'm going to, if the beginning part, I'll start with the beginning parts. If the beginning parts seem kind of bad to me, I'm just going to skip them. All right? That's pretty simple. That's what I can do. All right? What was this episode number? It's 1114? All right. It's nice that you can still find good old-fashioned pirated One Piece stuff whenever you want. Okay. Okay, so that's cool. Galaxy Impact is only till the 12-minute mark anyway, so I don't even have to watch the full episode, so that's great. Okay, I'll be right back. I should grab headphones. All right, everybody. We're getting into it. It's happening. Let's get the stream likes up to 200 real quick for starting the episode. Okay. This is right here. Should be visible for you all. I'm going to change the opacity, all right? I'm going to change the opacity. I always fucking forget this. How do I change the opacity? It's like... Okay. Alright. You guys can still see what's going on the screen. I maintain that this is fully visible. Alright. Let's go. Skip this shit. Although this is a fucking phenomenal... This opening is visually so beautiful, I have half a mind to watch the opening. But you guys will get bored. This is low-key... Is this just the best One Piece anime opening? Is this the best... Is this the best One Piece anime opening, whatever the fuck this one is? I'm not gonna do it. Why'd I pause it on Kid? Yeah. Is this the best One Piece anime opening? Yes. Yes. At least visually. People think it's too big? Too big? I can make it smaller. I can make it smaller. Akash Panda says, I hate to watch Morj rant about it. I'd rather he just enjoy the parts that we know he will enjoy. So people are feeling like I won't enjoy this. I don't know. You know what? I can try and take the Thumper approach. Who knows the Thumper approach? Yeah, I think at least visually it's the best, right? That's a consensus, pretty much. 80, like close to 90% of people seem to agree that. Yeah, music-wise, I think it's got a phenomenal... Whatever it begins with, whatever the fuck it begins with and closes with is beautiful. I just wish that it was more prevalent throughout the rest of the opening. Alright, you guys ready? The song, I feel, would be better if it just stuck with the part that's really fucking good. Here, I can make it bigger. I can make it a little bigger. I also don't know why it's in such a skinny dimension format. I can make it bigger. There we go. Like, it shouldn't be looking like this, but I'm not in charge of these things. Alright. Here we go. Here we go. Alright. Hug G Tube says we doing predictions. We will very possibly do predictions after this. Let's see kind of how long this all takes. People want me to react to some other stuff. I might end up doing a separate prediction stream this Thursday, but I did promise people doing predictions today, so we might roll with that. Let's see. Normally I don't stream on Thursdays when there's a break week, so let's just wait and see. So I might just move it along this section. I mean, this is fun for me. I haven't seen the rest of these Marines do their shit. I don't think spoilers will come out Thursday. This scene is kind of ridiculous because Kobe's like way, way, way stronger than him, and it's not like he has Sea Stone or something on right now. I still think it's comical that Kobe, for as strong as he is, still has to hold a ball and chain in 2 hands. Why does he have to hold it in 2 hands? Was he gonna die to these characters? Why was this phrase framed like that? Was he just gonna die? Alright. Alright, we might be skipping along in a second. What are they talking about? Was this in the manga? I actually don't remember. Hey, he's already taken. He's in love with Rebecca, I think. Yeah, this guy. This Groose. It's almost time. Okay, 7 something. All right, here we go. Here we go. Where the fuck is Smoker? I fucking forgot Tashiga was involved here. Did she help during this fight? I forgot Helmepo was here. Okay, let's go. Oh shit, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. He could just coup de burst like that. I thought he threw it for some reason, but I guess that's how the anime interpreted it. Smoker's riding his bike on the sea. Yeah. I fucking forgot this is what Kobe's voice is like. Oh, I'm actually pretty excited. This is so fucking cool. That bum's looking up at him like that. These bums are looking like they're gonna do something. No, Aokiji carries your asses throughout that fight, so you guys can land sneak attacks. All right, let's see. Whoa! Whoa! Even these guys are getting animated pretty expressively. What? Why does he have his Super Saiyan Haki coming out? Holy shit! What? He's about to use a fine. What? What? Holy shit. Kobe's like, you're gonna fucking kill me. I'm gonna die. That's a fucking, like, mushroom cloud type thing. What the? Yeah, Kobe nearly died? Oh my god. Oh my god, and he's coming down, like, fucking, like, full straight on. Like, with his arms crossed and everything. Just. Okay, so if you're an anime only fan, you come away from this thinking that Garp is the strongest character ever. Right? Like that was, at least in the anime as far as I know, there has never been anything that looks like that. There was the fucking universe. The entire cosmos was the fucking background for his punch. This felt like some galactic Super Saiyan type shit. This felt like Dragon Ball Z. It felt like some character, like Saitama or some shit, was picked up and dropped into One Piece. And also, this makes sense, because, like, so many... I should have been more prepared for this, because everyone was going crazy on this about this on Twitter. And I saw people talking about, like, oh, they fucking dropped a nuke. Like, Garp... It's like they fucking nuked Hachinosu. People like Hiroshima. Like, Garp just Hiroshima it or whatever. Be that in poor taste or whatever. These are the type of comments I was seeing. I was like, how crazy did they make this look? But legitimately, people were not exaggerating. That looks like a fucking atomic bomb. That looks like what Imu did to the Lucia Kingdom. It looks like fucking Uranus was fired on Hachinosu. It's visually practically the same shit. Holy fuck. This is not angry ranting, by the way. This is not that, all right? Because I still think that, like, that was a fucking insanely cool moment. I think it just goes to show that at this point, the anime, when it gets big moment, it's not power scaling type stuff. It's gonna make moments as flashy as possible when it's got stuff to work with, which is cool. And I think stuff like that warrants, when the anime is gonna do stuff like this episode, it warrants the slow pace, because slowing down the whole pace of that scene between the launching of the ship approaching, characters reacting, the build up to the punch, the actual effects of the punch, etc. When you're gonna take a cool scene like that's already an amazing scene in the anime or in the manga and extend it like that, I think that's still really, really sick. I will always view the anime as an adaptation, So not canon, because it's just not canon. So to me, if they want to make events like that really, really flashy, that's cool. I think there was a point where every fight started having like a lot of aura and it felt like just not even One Piece anymore, and I didn't really want it to go down that route. But, you know, I'll say even when in the manga, when we got Galaxy Impact in the manga, that in itself, it felt like a crazier hockey attack than anything we'd ever seen, because the gap between Garp's fist and the actual impact was way higher than anything we've ever seen, right? What we were before, we were kind of shown like, oh, it's crazy that Luffy's doing these hockey punches, and there's like a foot of like, oh, it's so much hockey that like he's not even touching or whatever, right? Or Kaido's doing that, or Big Mom's doing that, or Roger and Whitebeard are doing that. So before, that was kind of the metric that, you know, like having a couple feet of distance between the attack and the point of contact, that's the crazy thing about Advanced Conquerors hockey. When Garp did Galaxy Impact, that was basically unprecedented, because it's just a whole different level. Like, it's just a totally different visual display of hockey, right? So already in the manga, that was insane. I feel like with the anime, they almost had to, if I really think about it, they almost had to display it like that, because they've already been upping the hockey displays so much in the anime that then when it comes to, okay, well, Garp's Galaxy Impact was the largest scale, like visual scale hockey attack that we've ever had by a huge margin. It was already that in the manga, right? The no contact was fucking like several skyscrapers length or you know, a distance or something. So that means that naturally when you get to an attack that's already supposed to be on a totally different visual scale than any other hockey punch, that means that they've got to go even bigger and even crazier, because it's also got to blow out all of the other previous crazy hockey displays that they've shown in the anime, right? So when the anime is already significantly exaggerating every hockey moment, then when you get to some moment that's also much bigger proportionally in the manga than any other hockey moment, that means that you've got to proportionally scale that up in the anime as well, which is why you get something like this. So I would say this is insane, but the more I think about it, yeah, like, consider, you know, Shanks in the manga, he didn't get all that crazy Griffin stuff or whatever. That was some crazy extra spectacle that the anime added. And if you compare Divine Departure, I'm not saying, obviously Shanks today is stronger than Garp, right? Who knows Shanks versus Garp in his prime? I'm just saying, objectively, visually what's shown, Shanks' Divine Departure against Kid, it was nowhere near as visually large as what Garp did with Galaxy Impact, just in terms of visual scale. I'm not saying whose attack is strong, I'm just saying in visual scale, right? So if you're taking something like Shanks' Divine Departure and blowing it up that much in the anime, then that means that once you get to Galaxy Impact, you've got to blow that up even more, because you got to kind of keep the proportion kind of going to some degree, right? So when everything is scaled up, my general point is when everything's scaled up, then once you're hitting stuff like Galaxy Impact, or once what Joy Boy's hockey release is going to look like, that stuff's going to get even more scaled up relative to what everything else is being scaled up to. Anyway, yeah, all right. All right, let me catch up on these comments real quick. That was insane. That was kind of crazy. I liked it, and that was really cool to see. It was really cool to see. At this point, I'm just enjoying, like, it's not the same as, like, I'm gonna have issues when the manga, like, it's taking a cool scene from the manga and just anime-ifying it, right, to just make it even bigger and crazier, which is just what the One Piece anime has been doing for some time now. I generally won't like when every little thing has a bunch of aura each fight, but, you know, this is supposed to be a big hockey moment, and if you've already been portraying all the big hockey moments like super crazy, then you've got to make Galaxy Impact feel as significant in the manga as it does in the anime, as significant in the anime as it did in the manga, which means you've got to scale that shit up even more, because it is a bigger hockey attack than anything we've seen before, right? I liked it, didn't like it. At the very least, it fucking blew my mind. You know. I'll continue the episode. Let me just take a quick break, catch these supers. Andrew Kirk, thanks for the 10. Morj, Garp calls Kobe the future of the Marines. Do you think he views Luffy in a similar light, the future of the world, or does he just think he's an idiot with love? I think Garp probably believes that Luffy will be the future of the pirates. I just don't think Garp wants Luffy to be the future of the pirates. As for Garp thinking Luffy's the future of the world or whatever, I don't think Garp thinks in that light as far as we've seen. because Garp's not gonna ever think that a pirate's way is the correct way for the future of the world. He does genuinely believe that joining the Marines and working to better the world through the Marines is the right way to do things, right? He tells Aokiji to come back. He says Kobe's the future of the Marines. He's not gonna be on board with like whatever Luffy's doing, that's the right thing for the world, because he thinks that the right thing for the world is being on the side of the Marines. I'm sure he thinks that if Luffy was a Marine, he'd be like, my grandson would be the best Marine of all time. But you know, I don't think he thinks that Luffy's going to be the savior of the world as long as he's a pirate. But I'm sure he believes in his grandson being a good person and doing the right thing. Also, thank you very much for your first super ever, Andrew Kirk. Thank you very much. Hiyo, thanks for the 20. Remember my Black Blade theory. Imbuing someone else's will equals Black Blade. Your issue with it was it only makes Wado black, but it's easy to make all three black. Wado equals Kuina. Enma equals Odin/Hiyori. Sandai equals School of Kitetsu. I guess, but then it's like, how would Zoro doesn't really know Odin. He barely knows Hiyori. Would he really be able to imbue the will in there of them? And Sandai equals School of Kitetsu. I don't know. These concepts are a little vague for me to really think out and be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Imbuing someone else's blade, it's still interesting because it means that, like, you know, that means that Mihawk has some sort of interesting past with a certain character whose will he's imbued. But I don't know. I do think the fact that we saw that hockey can be stored is significant for what it means for Black Blades. That's all I gotta say. Now that it was confirmed by what Joy Boy did last chapter. Matt, thank you for being a Pirate King member for 4 months. Kobe, friendly fire, turn off friendly fire. Yeah. First of all, Matt, thanks for joining the Pirate King, or thanks for being a part of the Pirate King tier for a while now. I hope you got your submission in. I'm recording the podcast tomorrow for real, so you'll be able to get the podcast then. So I hope you get your question in, your submission in. But yeah, the Kobe thing, it's actually fucking hilarious to see Garp charging in, yelling about how he's here to save Kobe as the future of the Marines. And then he actually just like drops a nuclear bomb on the island without looking at where Kobe fucking is. He's just like, everybody die. And then he just drops the biggest attack we've ever seen in One Piece on the island. He's like, I'm here to save my God. Kobe fucking got thrown out of the way. Christian, thanks a lot. Watch the previous opening, The Peak, please. Okay, if we have time after this reaction, that's when we'll like consider reacting to other shit, basically. But I don't know. But thank you very much for your first super. Because it's your first super, I'll extra consider it. But it's just gonna matter. It's gonna depend on time and if people want to do predictions or watch more reactions to things right now. All right, guys. Continuing on. Is the rest of the episode good? I was told the second half is good, so I actually thought this episode would end with Galaxy Impact, but I was surprised to see it's like in the middle of the episode. Oh, even this dude's getting good animation now. Did he do this in the manga? That's a cool use of that. I didn't realize that. Damn. It's a cool shot of his ship. Everybody's just dead. Do I get to see Aokiji fight Blackbeard or fight Garp at all, or does it just stop with Aokiji showing up? Oh, wait, this will have the flashback to Aokiji and Blackbeard in the bar? That does make sense. Yeah, because that's what that chapter was, right? It was that, then Aokiji and Garp square off. He's like, you're okay. Yeah, motherfucker. Like, the most damage I faced on this island was from you. Aw, Helmeppo. Yeah, Garp's the one who nearly killed him. Nobody else on this island was trying to kill him. It was just, well, other people were, but scrubs. The Blackbeard pirates were not trying to kill him. Let's move this shit along. That's a moment where I think the freezing being faster and not the anime pacing could have been better. Although I think it was still good. The way it started with the footstep and the ice slowly creeping up, you knew what was coming. I really hope we get to see them start fighting this episode. I want to see the interaction of Aokiji freezing and Garp baking out. Yeah, Matt's talking about when Doflamingo got frozen. That instant freeze was sick. Yeah, I prefer that. I don't think it was bad what they did here. I think it does reflect them trying to save time, but I think they still did it a good way. Oh, is it? Are we done? Oh no, this is a flashback. Yeah, yeah. Who did this? Who froze all my subordinates? Must be some. Yeah. No, I don't need to ask. Damn. I forget who all did he freeze again? Yeah. Oh, no. Ah, shit. I actually wanted... Fuck. These episodes really don't have a lot of content, huh? Alright. Fuck. Alright, everybody. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Let's see. Hold on. Just catching up really quick. Manny, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for a month. Did you see that Garp slander that came from this episode, saying he doesn't have advanced Conqueror's Haki and that Kuzan beat his ass? No, I mean, on every single panel that Garp and Aokiji are fighting, Garp's beating his ass, and that includes after, it's either, there's only one panel where they're equal, and that's when they're punching each other, and then every single other panel, if they're fight, they're beating, or Garp's beating his ass, right? And then other moments are Garp, or the Blackbeard, other Blackbeard pirates joining in, getting in sneak attacks, basically, like, handicapping Garp till eventually Garp loses and Garp has to protect his subordinates. But I don't really know what manga panel people are looking at that suggests that, like, there's no point. It's kind of like a Marco King situation again, where it's like every single panel is Marco beating King, but then you have some crazy people who are like, no, it's the other way around. It's like, I don't know, it's just, there must be some invisible images or invisible ink or something like that, some hidden panels that we can't actually visually see. But yeah, Garp versus Aokiji is pretty cut and dry. It was like Garp beats Aokiji's ass pretty much every single panel. It takes Garp being severely handicapped by a Yonko first mate stabbing him, every other member of the Yonko crew teaming up and helping Aokiji, Aokiji with a tremendous amount of help, Garp being handicapped, and Garp also having to simultaneously hold off Aokiji and the Blackbeard pirates while trying to protect his subordinates, so Garp also having to have babysitter duty. All of that combined allowed the other group to defeat him, but there's not a single moment in there that implies that Aokiji could take Garp 1v1. Like, literally not a single moment in that fight. Like, Oda went head over heel. Like, he threw the kitchen sink at Garp to basically handicap the fuck out of him as much as possible. He thought of every single thing. He's like, here, Aokiji. Like, think about this. Just Aokiji having a Yonko first mate on his side fighting Garp, that in itself would be a huge handicap. That's a 2v1. That's really unfair, right? If it was like Aokiji and King versus Garp or Aokiji and Zora versus Garp. So like, that's a huge handicap, right? That's a 2v1. Oda was like, no, Aokiji gets a Yonko first mate, he gets Shiryu, and here's another Yonko crew member, and another Yonko crew member, and another, you know what? Here, just have like almost an entire Yonko crew on your side, Aokiji. And if that's not enough, Garp also has to be looking out for and trying to protect his subordinates who are trying to get away, who are all very, very weak aside from Kobe. And so Garp's also got to split his attention and be distracted during the fight while you all get to gang up on him. It's very, very, like, it's just so overwhelmingly unfair for Garp. It's hard to imagine how anyone could say that this was, like, this looks good for Aokiji in any way. How does this show that he doesn't have advanced Conqueror's Haki? That's probably, like, the biggest hockey punch that we've ever seen, which means it kind of has to be advanced Conqueror's Haki because what we were told is that the effect of the it's not even touching is advanced Conqueror's Haki, right? Like, that's the biggest it's not even touching moment in the entire series. Umir says Morj, Aokiji was holding back though. Yeah, but so was Garp. We know Garp was because Garp was saying he just wants to bring Aokiji back to the Marines. He's not trying to kill Aokiji. And Garp doesn't use his, like, that attack that he just used, that giant ass nuke, Galaxy Impact, he doesn't use that on Aokiji. He's treating him with kid gloves because that's, like, what Aokiji is to him. Aokiji's his subordinate. He's not, like, he's not in the same weight class exactly, right? What we did see Aokiji do is, like, I get people say Aokiji held back, but I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that, because Aokiji tried freezing Garp. That doesn't work, because Garp's Haki allows him to break out, so you can't freeze him. Then Aokiji tries boxing with him, and Garp is the one we know is holding back. Garp's not actually using his Galaxy punches. He's using basic, it looks like, armament Haki punches. Aokiji, as far as we know, doesn't have advanced Conqueror's Haki like Garp, so I don't really know where, like, for one character, we know for a fact what he's holding back. He's holding back actually using his giant-ass punches that basically blow up islands in a single shot, right? The other character, it's like, does Aokiji have Haki on that level? I think most people would agree that Aokiji can't do that sort of punch that Garp just did. So I don't think Aokiji's holding back a Galaxy Impact of his own. Ice doesn't seem to be effective against Garp, so I don't really know what people are saying. Yeah. Aokiji is a Kainu's Haki knot. Raizo Anime says Garp did say Aokiji was holding back, but both were handicapped. Yeah, but one is handicapped significantly more. Because you could say they're both holding back, but then one also has to deal with an entire Yonko crew attacking him at the same time, and a giant hole through his stomach, and having to babysit a bunch of kids. There's like, it's not even close who was more handicapped there, and they're both holding back. And as far as we know, if we want to be really straight up, Garp was actually holding back some fucking insane ass attacks, whereas Aokiji is hypothetically holding back some attacks, but we don't really know what they are or whether they'd be effective against Garp whatsoever. I can't even imagine somebody who's saying that Garp, who's using this to slander Garp, because this episode made Garp look like a fucking god. Like, this was the strongest hockey attack we've ever seen in One Piece, right? Oh, whoops. See, I don't get this, because Ace Becombex is Aokiji definitely holding back a lot. I mean, maybe hypothetically, but then that's headcanon. Like, to some degree, that's headcanon, whereas with Garp, we know for a fact he was holding back a lot. Like, this attack, we just saw this episode, the strongest hockey attack we've seen in One Piece so far, right? This attack, he didn't use it against Aokiji. He did use it on, like, Avala Pizarro to get his, or a similar version of it, to get his subordinates out of the way. But very clearly, he wasn't going to use that on Aokiji. He wasn't trying to actually hurt Aokiji. He used some basic-ass punches against Aokiji, right? I don't really know what to say. Bokoloko says Galaxy Impact didn't knock out fodder. Are people actually trying to downplay Galaxy Impact at this point? I don't even know what to say. That's the fucking like, it's a fucking... This just goes to show, like, it doesn't matter. People's agendas are so rooted so heavily. It looked like a fucking, like, the way the anime did it, it looked like it fucking was it nuked the entire island, right? By far the strongest single punch we've seen in all of One Piece. Maybe Bajrangan, I suppose. But that's more Devil Fruit based, right? It's, like, literally, you could see, like, a nuke, and then people will be like, oh, well, technically, blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, that's the fucking... What do you need Garp to do? All right. Anyway, moving along. I mean, it shouldn't be a debate if it's Conqueror's Haki or not, because you can't really do that without like, this is what Conqueror's Haki is, right? Here, let me pull up. Conqueror's Haki is just I got to turn the opacity back up. Right, this is Conqueror's Haki as far as we know. It's, like, Advanced Conqueror's Haki means this, right? Like, he's not even touching him. That's Conqueror's Haki. That's Advanced Conqueror's Haki, when characters are doing stuff like that, right? This is Advanced Conqueror's Haki. I think everyone's on the same page about this shit, right? If there's no point of contact, that means it's Advanced Conqueror's Haki. Isn't that, like, the whole point of explaining it like that? Like, look, not even touching. That's Advanced Conqueror's Haki. I think Big Mom does it almost the very next chapter or something like that, or very soon after. Should do it here. Yeah, like, this stuff is Advanced Conqueror's Haki, right? So if Garp does this, I mean, that's just the definition, right? Once it's that, that's the signifier that it's Advanced Conqueror's Haki. So this has to be this is not an armament Haki thing. It has to be Advanced Conqueror's Haki, right? Because that's what's explained to us. That's the signifier, right? If there's no contact. And this isn't even just no contact. It's like several buildings worth of no contact. This was already the largest visual display of hockey we'd ever seen. It wasn't really close. You can't really argue it's not Advanced Conquerors hockey, because that's the whole fucking point. That's why this exists, and why why this exists, and why like this shit was explained to us. Like this is the point. They're not even touching. That's the point. Nobody with armament hockey does this. Does anyone know a character with armament hockey that does this? Any takers? Any characters with armament hockey who do this? This is the point. This can't be done. This is the whole fucking point. I don't know what Oda's supposed to say. They're not even touching. He's not even touching him. It's just this. This is it. I think this is one of the cases where like Oda uses lots of language where it's supposed to just be like the reader's supposed to use their just not even use their brain. It should just be. It's just he basically just makes it pretty fucking clear that hey, this is the indicator, and he uses that. But then he doesn't. I think it would be good if he spelled it out a little bit more, because then you still will get some readers who will try and argue that it's not technically stated, that not touching isn't who will try to argue that not touching doesn't mean it's Advanced Conquerors hockey. Because it's not explicit. He's trying to be cute with it in his explanations, I guess. Like he tries to use similar verbiage to basically make it clear, and like similar visual displays to make these things clear. But then I think at the end of the day, some readers just won't get, like, I don't really know what to say. Tomahawk PWPT, thanks for the 5. The true debate and slander will come when Kobe's honesty impact gets animated and people compare the two attacks. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Let's see if Kobe's honesty impact is shown to have a contact or not contact, because that's the big difference, right? That's the only thing we really have to determine Advanced Conquerors hockey outside of verbiage. When verbiage is similar, or like certain feats are established, such as scarring Kaido or something like that, Umair, thanks for the 5. Galaxy Impact most likely is Advanced Conquerors hockey. It's just questionable because Garp has never been shown to use regular Conquerors hockey, and he's never been a confirmed user. But do you need to show regular Conquerors? Like, we knew that Kaido was Advanced Conquerors hockey user from the get-go without him, although I guess it's stated. But I don't know if it needs to be shown, like, or verbally confirmed. Like, this is it, right? This is, at this point in the story, this is the confirmation, because this is what it is. Like, what more does Oda have to show? Yeah, this is a matter of reading comprehension, says Oda. I still think that Oda should just spell it out, because it takes like one phrase to state it, right? Like, you have so much random, like, that's my thing. Like, Oda, it's not as though Oda doesn't have the space. There's so much space. How about don't write Raizo versus Fukurokuju and instead write a single like how about shorten the Ice Oni shit by like one panel and then include a panel where you just say, oh yeah, no contact is this. But what we've got is basically the language, which is not touching, right? Consistent visual of not touching. They're not even touching. Anytime Oda's trying to show that shit, it's like, Zoro versus King, right? Once Zoro gets once Zoro gets Advanced Conquerors hockey, or at least masters it, then it's like, now I've got it. And then he does this thing, right? They clash, and then he releases some Advanced Conquerors hockey, so it's not touching. So that's kind of the cue, isn't it? Dick so small, I piss on my balls. Thanks for the 2. Untouchable blows equals armament. Hyo does it. Yes, but when it's so big that it's like this, then it's established to be Advanced Conquerors hockey. So that's kind of that's the visual similarity that Oda established, We've seen shields, like hockey shields, that go up that are larger than that are kind of big. Like the admirals, when they put their hands together, they're doing that. So we've seen visual shields, but in terms of punches, as in what Luffy's talking about is this is second level armament, so it's not first level, this is second level. This is the hockey wield penetrates and destroys the enemy from the inside, so it's second level that's being referenced here, where it flows out offensively. In terms of that, anytime that's happened, that's Advanced Conquerors. Like, you would have to be willfully ignoring all of the context and implications of this chapter to pretend that that's not the case, right? So when this effect is happening and it's offensive, and it's to the point that it's not touching, like, that cue is saying that. What is it saying? It should be pretty fucking obvious. He's not even touching him. He's not even touching. That's not. I don't think Oda is leaving any room for ambiguity. If you think that this is armament hockey, I kind of think it's borderline insane, because this is not nobody could do this type of punch even with Conqueror's hockey. If this type of punch is possible with armament hockey, that means that there's no difference between armament and Conquerors, when the entire point of this whole explanation is explaining that there is a difference between armament and Conquerors, right? That's the whole point of this. It was still too shallow. I figured out that there's a difference. You can do it with Conqueror's hockey. Once you do it with Conqueror's hockey, you get this sort of effect where they're not touching, which is what the top tiers do. It's all fucking ABC. I feel like Oda shouldn't have to spell out the ABCs, but to argue that this is armament hockey is just like, I don't even fucking know. Why would it even make sense that Garp isn't a Conqueror's hockey user when he's fucking Monkey D. Luffy in his prime? This guy's the most stubborn, fucking strong-willed, one of the most stubborn, strong-willed, willful characters we've ever seen in the story, who always does what he wants. Yeah, he's a Marine, but the more context we've gotten is that he's a Marine who's always done whatever he wants. He's always disobeyed, essentially, Celestial Dragons. He's decided when he goes to fight or not fight, etc. This is... I don't even know what to say here. Anyway. There should be a Vivre card for Garp and Aokiji. No, because the Vivre cards they're usually not really comprehensive in terms of information. For example, the Vivre cards didn't say that Ace had armament hockey, but Ace did have armament hockey. That was kind of a big deal. I mean, this is the largest attack we've ever seen in terms of hockey, right? I don't really know how you could, like, in good faith, actually try to pretend that this is armament. It's like, nobody does this with armament, right? The only way to do it, like, if you read 1010, the whole fucking chapter is basically establishing this type of shit. Like, even this basic level, right? Even something as simple as this is not possible with armament. That's the whole point of this chapter. It's the whole point of this chapter, right? Even something like this, which is a large display of no contact, it's not possible with armament. That's what's explained, right? If you want to argue first level Rio, which is the shield, that's possible with armament, then sure, that's the case, but that's not what is being talked about here. It's talked about offensive, flowing out, penetrating, right? That's only possible with Advanced Conquerors to have this sort of effect. That's just factual. That's established in the story here, which means this has to be Advanced Conquerors. It is insane cope to try and argue that, well, Garp isn't stated to be a Conqueror's hockey user beforehand, therefore it doesn't have to be this, when it's like, dude, it doesn't have to. It's stated that only fucking Advanced Conquerors hockey users can do this. So he has to be an Advanced Conquerors hockey user because what he's doing right here is like 50 times bigger than what anybody else is doing with Advanced Conquerors hockey. Dick so small, I pissed on my balls thanks to the 5. Garp 100% use King's hockey. I'm pretty sure no contact is an arms effect and King's hockey amplifies the power. Yeah, I mean, armament creates a sort of layer around you. You can turn it into a shield, even a really big shield like the Admiral showed. But if you want it to flow out of you, right? If you want it to flow out of you, you can't get this level of effect. This level of effect is only possible with Advanced Conquerors. Like, by that logic, you think Big Mom doesn't have Advanced Conquerors? You think this is just random? You think Zoro doing this just right here after he learns Advanced Conquerors is just random? This is so much bigger than the rest. I think Oda would have to think his readers are insanely dumb if he needs to explain that this... Because it's the same as this, right? It's the same as all these things, which are exclusively Advanced Conquerors. It's the same as all these, but way bigger. So I think Oda would be like, well, how much more insanely obvious would I have to make it that Garp's using Conqueror's hockey here, when this is something that can only be done with Advanced Conquerors and also blows out of the water anything anybody else has done with Advanced Conquerors in the past. I don't really know what to say. All right, let's move it along. Interesting title, says more to write about it being conquerors, but I still think Oda is vague about haki in general. I agree. And I think he's vague. I think there's certain things where it's just, you know, you put like 2 and 2 together and it's fucking obvious. But at the same time, it's like, clearly, in some cases, it's not, right? In some cases, it's like Kobe's honesty impact is when we're going to have discussions, right? Because Kobe's honesty impact, we can't tell from the manga panel was it no contact or not. You can have really big attacks with just armament haki, as Sabo showed, right? When he blew up the Colosseum. That stuff is possible. So it's vague in a lot of ways. Sometimes it's very clear if you just, like, you should be able to read this and you should be able to read this and understand it's the same thing. But it would be fucking nice if Oda just emphasized, like, it's nice that Oda's like, oh, I don't want to spoon feed everything. But it's also like, but you could, and it would just help with a lot with clarity, because in some cases you are unclear, right? In some cases it is vague. Like honesty impact. This is not one of them. This is established to be advanced conquerors haki only, right? But Kobe's honesty impact, we kind of need to see. And I don't know how the anime is going to frame it. The anime's got a tough call in their hands. Not a Pro 64 text to 5. Attacking without touching was what Hyogoro was teaching Luffy and Udon. Hyogoro used an attack. It's not just defense. What Dick So Small said. Yes, but when it's so big that it's not, like, visually not touching, that's when it's advanced conquerors, right? We all know what Hyogoro explained. The idea is that when it's so big, because even Luffy recognized, he was having flashbacks to what was happening before with Haki and like what Sentomaru did, what Rayleigh did with the elephant, things like that, right? But when it's so big that it's creating this sort of effect that other characters are yelling, they're not even touching, you agree that there's a strong parallel here. They're not even touching, and that Oda continues to use this specifically as the example of of the difference in terms of distance between advanced conquerors and advanced armament, right? The difference is the distance, right? Advanced armament is creating sort of thin, invisible armor, right? Advanced conquerors is basically creating a huge blown up version of that where you can release a shit ton of haki. That's the difference. So the key is basically when we're getting a huge display like this, or like this, or, you know, like this, you know, like this. The key is that the reader is basically able to understand, oh, this is on a totally different level. This is advanced conquerors, right? You notice that all the times that Luffy was hitting Kaido before Chapter 1010, it was basically clear contact, right? We understand that there's supposed to be a bit of a barrier there, but it's not so big that it's visual. Once it's so big that it's visual, that means it's advanced conquerors. That's the whole fucking point of this chapter, right? Which means that you would have to be fucking insane to argue that this is advanced armament. Because the point is that it goes armament, then advanced armament, then advanced conquerors haki, and then we get to this on the far fucking end of the spectrum, which means it has to be fucking extreme display of advanced conquerors haki, right? Anyway, let's move it along. Ibrahim Camera says, doesn't Oda work closely with the anime? No, that is a lie that anime fans try to spread. It's clearly disproven in many cases. Oda does watch the anime and, like, says, I like it and shit like that. But that doesn't mean that the anime is canon any more than it be, like, Oda also watches the fucking One Piece live action and says that he likes the episodes. Like, shit's not released without him saying he likes it. That doesn't mean adaptations are canon. They're still adaptations. The only canon is what comes from Oda's mouth, and what's in the actual manga. All right, guys, we got to do the next stuff. It's also just like, I mean, it kind of goes beyond that because it's kind of just like basic understanding of like character. Literally read everything that Garp does, his personality, his persona, his attitude about everything. It's how, if you have any basic understanding of how Conqueror's Haki users are written and the type of personality traits that they're written with, Garp is obviously a Conqueror's Haki user. Like, Garp is actually a fucking poster child for the type of character that is Conqueror's Haki user. Right? Like, this is like fucking poster child Conqueror's Haki user behavior. This is the type of shit Luffy does. This is the type of shit that like an idiot like Kid would do, right? This is like Kaido. This is Conqueror's Haki type shit. This is the type of shit that Whitebeard would do. He's so blatantly the fucking stereotype of a Conqueror's Haki user. It's insane. I get that, yeah, he didn't like take over the Marines, but that's not what Conqueror's Haki means, right? Conqueror's Haki means that you're very strong-willed, you don't bow down to anybody, and Garp refuses to bow down. He does whatever the fuck he wants. And you're very willful, very stubborn, don't back down, all that sort of shit. Garp is poster child, like, cut out to a T, Conqueror's Haki. It's actually, like, it kind of goes beyond just understanding armament versus conquerors. It's fundamentally misunderstanding what it means to be a Conqueror's Haki user. Like, what it means to have that disposition if you think that Garp doesn't fit that, obviously, to a T. All right, guys, let's move it along. Let's get the stream likes to 300. I don't know what we're doing next. We've got an hour-ish. All right, let's see. It also raises the question of what would be the point of Conquerors versus Armament Haki if Armament just does the same thing but better than Conquerors Haki, you know? The whole point was that Conquerors is the stronger version of it. Okay. Chinja forever tainting Conquerors Haki roster? I mean, he might have been really strong in his prime. Who knows? Okay, let's see. Should we do predictions contest now or save for, or do a Thursday stream for it? All right, we're doing the poll right now. Ender Anami says Thursday predictions runs the risk of spoilers being out by then. But isn't the chapter like next week? Fuck. The thing is, we can also do reactions to other stuff next Monday. Because next Monday, depending on what I think next Monday's episode will also probably be pretty good. And next Monday we get or next Sunday we get the first look of the One Piece anime. So we could save next Monday for being a reacting to other stuff. Yeah, I think, let's do, okay. Next Sunday we get, hold on, let me check. Is One Piece WIT anime first look? When is that? One Piece anime. Right? That's happening? Soulco says I need to see reacting to Laugh Hill and Roger versus Whitebeard. I've seen that already. I can't react to it. I think this is just going to depend. I think, let me see what people are saying about spoilers. Yokai Gota, thanks to the 5. 90% of the time, it doesn't even matter which specific application of Haki someone is using, unless you're a power scaler and want to argue about feats. I think it does matter, because, like, your strongest attacks are all advanced Conqueror's Haki. That's kind of established. And then, like, the attacks that aren't so strong, can't really split the sky and stuff, are armament Haki. And that's kind of what we've got, you know? Yeah, 90% of the time it doesn't matter because 90% of users aren't advanced, or like 90% of characters aren't advanced Conqueror's Haki users. So they're running around fighting with flimsy, weak, not so special armament Haki. And then you got a few select characters that if they clash, they're going to split the sky and shit. And that's advanced Conqueror's Haki users, you know? Dylon, thanks for the 2. Talk about Shanks versus Mihawk for an hour. Nice try, but no. JWP, thank you for the 10. I think Garp has advanced Conquerors, but it's weird because out of all 22 Conquerors Haki users, except Garp, on the wiki, everyone has a panel using it and knocking someone out, or a panel of someone saying said character has Conquerors Haki. Yeah, but I think we're at a point where it's just like, what do you call? I think we're at a point where it's just going to be so fucking obvious that, you know, if Mihawk shows up and does some huge ass, like, let's say Mihawk shows up, splits the sky with Shanks or something next chapter, right? We're all going to fucking understand Mihawk is Conqueror's Haki. I don't think Oda's going to take the extra step to establish that, like, oh, splitting the sky means that you're an advanced Conqueror's Haki user, because we just know that Oda's not going to do that, right? At a certain point, it's just going to be implied. You could say that, you know, it hasn't been like, I think we're at a point so far in the series where we're going to get more and more Conqueror's Haki users that just through their actions, it's going to be clear that they are advanced Kankurosaki users, right? I think Oda might be just like, does it need to be stated that, oh, it was the color of the Supreme King that Garp just used? Or do you think that would be something that maybe slows down this chapter, right? Do you need a panel of someone yelling, oh, Garp, like, fitting in somewhere here? It's the color of the Supreme King or something like that. Or should it just be, like, Oda gave us the indication already of what's advanced Kankurosaki, right? He made it very, very clear. And then he does something that's so absurdly, obviously only possible with advanced Kankurosaki, because it's this same thing that you cannot do with advanced armament, because it's been made very clear that it's not the same thing. You don't get this display, this level of no contact with advanced armament, right? And then he does this. I think it's almost as though it just would be kind of ridiculous. It's kind of like, you know, at a certain point we start noticing characters, like post-time skip, we started noticing that anytime a character is using Haki, for the most part, they're turning their fist black. It's like, why is that character's fist turning black? It's Haki. Oda's not going to state every time that a character turns their fist black and throws a punch. Like, at a certain point, it wasn't like every character that's turning their fist black, it needs to be explained that they're using Haki right there. You get what I'm saying? Right? We understand intuitively, like, oh, why is that character got a black fist? Why have they got a black leg, right? We understand that they're fucking using Haki. This is the same shit. It falls into that category. So you could say it's weird right now, but it's really not if you just recognize that we're at a point in the story where certain things are just clear indicators, right? Again, I think that Oda is too vague at certain points, like Honesty, Impact, we don't get it, right? This is not vague, because this is literally just this, which is, it cannot not be vague, right? You think, like, put it this way. You think if Law saw Garp do this, would he say something like would he be thinking, or like Odin saw something like they're not even touching? You think that they'd be thinking? Like, just ask yourself that as the reader. This is what it means, right? Not even touching, right? If somebody saw this, would they think, wow, Garp did that without even touching the ground, right? That's pretty much it. You think Law might see this and be like, holy shit, Garp didn't touch the ground. I think so, considering this is like the most extreme display of that we've ever seen. That's it. Yeah, at a certain point, it's just like, you know, it's not going to be spelled out every single time. We might see a character some point down the line say something like do something like, the next words out of your mouth were going to be this, or you were about to do this or something. And then we're going to ascertain, oh, this character is using future sight, without Oda actually having to tell us, like, this character is seeing the future. Shit like that's going to happen, right? It's not going to, I don't think it's going to be stated every single time this character is a future sight user, or this character uses future sight, you know? Kind of like, you know, when admirals held up their hands and did that shield at Marine Ford. It's not explained that they're using advanced armament Haki, but we know from Hyogoro's explanation that's what they're using. I don't think it's going to be stated every time. But I get what you're saying, JWP. It is weird in that sense, I guess, but it's only weird if you kind of just set the expectation that it needs to be stated every time, whereas I think that, like, we're at a point in the story where lots of times Oda's just, we know how he is as a writer, he's not going to say it. JWP, thanks for 5. I'm late, so my bad for late topic. Last point is that if Garp has advanced Kankurosaki, he does. That Kobe's going to have it or already does. Yeah, it's just a question of, like, was Honesty Impact already that? I do think that Kobe will have advanced Kankurs by the end of the story. Raffy the Goat says, then I guess Joy Boy doesn't have Kankurosaki, nothing confirmed. No, because to be fair, Luffy did outright state, oh, that's the color of the Supreme King when Joy Boy's Haki came out. Growth Stonks, thanks for the 5. Pirates seek wealth, fame, and power. However, there are certain pirates that seek justice called Marines. Are the Marines just a big group of pirates? Yeah, I mean, like, the huge point in the story is that the Marines and pirates, they don't have a big difference in terms of, like, they try to appear as though they're very different, but there's a lot of similarities between how the Marines view themselves as justice, while they end up acting a lot like pirates would. Josh7143, thanks for the 5. Do you think Jorbo was the first person to display Conqueror's Haki? No, I don't think so. I think that might be going a little far. He was the first pirate ever, though. All right, guys, we're going to do predictions here. Wait, can anyone confirm? Anyone confirm? Can anyone confirm? Is next Sunday, I think there's supposed to be some news about the One Piece anime, right? About the new One Piece anime? I thought I saw it's coming Sunday or something. We're going to do predictions in a second. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How come readers are upset with the animation of this? Why is this a controversial episode? Is it because it's too much? I'm seeing some stuff about the latest episode being controversial. It's Sunday? Saturday? Yeah, I think just because we're probably going to run the risk of spoilers coming out, let's wait till Monday to do... See, like Monday, I'll be reacting to the episode again. I'll be potentially reacting to whatever new anime news is out. So I can pick up the Pokemon Adventures reactions, the ones that Akash Panda is wanting me to watch, stuff like that. I can do that. So for the moment, let's do spoilers. Let's just do not spoilers, predictions. Let's do predictions. Let's do that now. Because it's just too much for risk otherwise to wait till, just to wait. All right, so we're now doing predictions. Predictions contest is opening. Give me a second. Let me just load this shit again. Okay. All right. All right. All right. We got some shit set up. Okay. For those of you who are new to stream, don't know how this shit works, here's how it works. All right. It's a competition for chapter 1123. Trying to just, what do you call? Basically, it's not a mean competition. It's a fun competition. But we're going to be competing. We, as in you all, are trying to compete to basically see who can most accurately predict the next chapter. Next chapter is going to be difficult to predict, honestly, because we don't know if Egghead ended or didn't end just yet. It seems as though it's basically in the wrap-up last couple phases, moments or whatever, right? But next chapter is going to be very, very... I think next chapter is going to be extraordinarily difficult to predict. And even this last chapter, sometimes we have a ton of predictions correct. I think a couple prediction streams ago, we got like 4 or so predictions correct. And then this last one, we barely got like half a prediction correct, and that was from Honkshu me. Honkshu me. Got a correct prediction, about roughly, like half a correct prediction, I would say. So the way it works is that if you win, you are shouted out in the next chapter review, and you're added to a running board of winners. So you will always show up in chapter reviews as one of the winners, and you're made mod for the stream going forward, basically. JWP, thanks for the 5. I thought the animation was too much. DD was like the max amount of effects I think are good. Divine Departure. Galaxy Impact reminded me of Rooftop when One Piece became Dragon Ball. Yeah, but the tricky thing is that like I'm saying, I was saying after the moment, it kind of makes sense because you're like Divine Departure was the max amount of effects that I think are good. The tricky thing though is that no matter how you spin it, in the manga, the Galaxy Impact is a way, way, way bigger, crazier hockey attack than Divine Departure. It's in fact not really comparable to anything that came before, because even before it's just like, you know, if like we just took an extended look at past Advanced Conqueror's hockey attacks, and it's usually just pretty straightforward, like punches and shit, with like a good amount of lightning and stuff like that. Galaxy Impact is way bigger than Divine Departure. It's the same thing, like manga chapter to manga chapter. If you compare Galaxy Impact to Divine Departure, which came right before it, Galaxy Impact's way bigger. Not saying that means Garp is stronger than Shanks. He's obviously not at this point in time. We don't know Shanks Prime versus Garp Prime. We don't know that. It's not about that, right? Like, having the biggest visual hockey impact doesn't mean that that's like the strongest hockey attack ever. That's not what I'm saying, obviously, okay? I'm just saying factually, it's like if I'm looking right here, right? Or actually like right here. 1079. it's like what they did is proportional. You know, this is what Divine Departure looks like, which is cool. It's like a really big hockey attack. At the time, this looked like a really big hockey attack. But it's just that Galaxy Impact is, in the manga as well, it's also just on a totally, it's like way, way, way bigger scale-wise. Like, it's a way crazier hockey attack. It's way crazier. Like, we'd never seen anything like this before. Like, someone punching from here, and their hockey expands to cover the entire city. That's not a thing, right? So, if you say Divine Departure is the level that you want it to peak at, it can't, because Divine Departure isn't really the peak of hockey visual display in the manga itself. So it's got to all be proportional to some degree. Again, I don't think the anime cares about power scaling that much, but like if they've already been doing so much for smaller scale hockey attacks, then once you get to Galaxy Impact, to be even moderately consistent, you do have to kind of scale it up that much, you know? I don't think you can kind of just be like, okay, well, everything big as a hockey move now has to scale to whatever size Divine Departure was, because we're gonna get bigger shit than Divine Departure, right? Again, I think, to be honest, like proportionally, what they did for Divine Departure and proportionally what they did for Galaxy Impact in the anime, I think it's consistent with proportionally what it looks like Oda kind of did display-wise for Divine Departure in the manga to Galaxy Impact, you know? I think it's honestly consistent. I get that it feels kind of too crazy, but you can't say it's inconsistent. You know what I mean? It would have been too little if it was only as visually crazy as Divine Departure, because Galaxy Impact is much crazier than Divine Departure, visually speaking. Only visually speaking, but that's what we're talking about here. Dicks are small, piss on. Oh, we're doing the predictions. But you're saying Galaxy Impact reminded me of the rooftop when One Piece became Dragon Ball. I do understand that, but it's kind of like, to be honest, even in the manga, it's like kind of like a Dragon Ball attack, you know? This is like some shit you'd see in Dragon Ball in the early days or something, you know? But I agree, like, they still went fucking crazy with it more than it is. I just think it's kind of what they wrote themselves into, because it's in the manga, it's canonically way more hockey than anything else before. So if you're already having really big hockey displays for other shit, then once you get to the big one, the one that's like fucking a town-sized display of just pure hockey, then they have to scale that up even more to feel like it's the same level of impact it's got in the manga. Because I guess it's just, I don't know. Umair says a couple buildings, lol, not a whole city. Yeah, but I guess, again, it's still a lot more than what you see from other hockey attacks in terms of just sheer amount of hockey, right? Like, nobody else's hockey from this distance is covering a whole town, right? So in the anime, because it's the anime, it changes it from like, I mean, you're underrating it because you know it's not a couple buildings. This is, like, it is a town, basically, that he's blowing up, and the anime is going to scale it up to cover, I guess, most of the island. This is what they're going to do. Anyway. Let's cover this. All right. But I understand why you dislike it, because it feels like, I think it's something like they should just tone it down in the first place. It doesn't ever need to go that crazy in the first place. And then that way you can have something like Galaxy Impact look like it does in the manga and still be impressive. But it's like, well, we did Divine Departure like this, and that's so crazy. And like Law and Blackbeard's clash, that was so insane, right? Even though in the manga it's not that, like, it's kind of like a smaller clash, right? So it's like if they made Law and Blackbeard clashing so huge, and they made Divine Departure so huge, then it's like, well, then we get to this shit, which is actually huge, and it's like, well, now we got to make it fucking nuclear sized, you know? It's all just them scaling off their already insane scale. Okay, dragons. Okay, dick so small. Okay, hold on. Dragon's bounty revealed, and it's 6.6 bill. Here's the deal, dick so small. I'm gonna still give you credit even if we just get Dragon's bounty revealed. I think that that's specific enough of a guess that you should still get credit. So even if it's just, yeah, I'll still give you credit. I'll give you, I don't know, double credit if you we'll do something. We'll do something extra. If it's 6.6 bill. It doesn't need to be 6.6 bill. Manny, thanks for the 5. Prediction, Emu gets mad at the Gorosei for failing to stop the message. Okay, I could see that. I think that that's bold enough of a guess. Emu gets mad at Gorisei. Manny. Hiyo, thanks for the 2. Blackbeard arrives on Egghead to take out Saturn. Oh, shit. That's a bold prediction. Blackbeard arrives on Egghead to take out Saturn. All right. Let's get the stream likes up to 300 real quick. I predicted this last time, but I'll try again. Says some little Mexican. Thanks for the 5, by the way. Emu uses ancient weapon to destroy Egghead. Oh, shit. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I'm going to say attempt to. I'll give you some leniency here. Some little Mexican. Whoops. Emu uses ancient weapon to attempt to destroy Egghead. And I'm giving you some. I'll give you some leeway right there. Whether they do or not, you get the credit either way. Yokai Gota, thanks a lot. Narrator hyping up another large incident. Final war, will Lestrade escape? Also get some LEDs, it's just a nice vibe. I'm going to switch the desk light back. Or not the desk light. The desk framing back. But I'm thinking, like, if I did do this, maybe I could just put some stuff up in the background. Lights, maybe. Maybe I could make it a vibe. I don't know. But I kind of want to turn it back to what it was before. Also, let's get the stream lights up to 300 real quick. What's the Lestrade's escape? Okay. Narrator hypes up another large incident. I'll give you leeway and just say some other large incident while Straw Hats escape. That's from Yokai. Flashback to what... So, Growth Stonks, thanks a lot. Flashback to what happened to the other Seraphim. Oh, shit, that's actually really important. I was just typing without processing. That's actually really important. Yeah, holy shit, because they're all still on the island, right? For some reason... Yeah, they're still on the island. But I think that they got sucked up by Jupiter. So they're probably still... They're with Jupiter or something now. English 1D1, thanks a lot. Emeth and Saturn have a conversation about Void Sentry and Joy Boy. Oh, shit, that'd be cool. These are good predictions, because I thought next chapter was really hard to predict, but these are good predictions. I could see all of these. I could see a lot of these happening. Void Century, and / or Joy Boy. Okay, Ricky, thanks for your 3rd super ever. The transponder snail that flew out will give the Strats information only they will know. Oh, shit. The transponder snail that... You think they'll get to eavesdrop? Snail that flew out will give... I don't think Luffy will care. The other Strats will have to pay attention. Maybe like Robin. Information that only they will know. Also, let's get the stream likes up to 300 real quick. It's right there. Kevin Magnus's Robin lore dump. Robin lore dump. Is that too... No, I think that's still... It's general, but it's like a specific enough guess that I think it's okay. Not a Pro 64. Thanks for the 5, man. Emeth deactivated, falls towards Saturn, going to crush him. Okay, I could see that. Emeth deactivated, falls towards Saturn, going to crush him. That's from Not a Pro. I feel like you should have a better mentality, man. You can be a pro. I always see your name and I'm just like, why don't you? You could be a pro, I feel. JWP, thank you again, man. Thanks for the 5 prediction. Kizaru betrays Marines in some way. Oh, I no idea what's going to happen next chapter, lol. Yeah, I still have to give my prediction. But it's going to be fucking rough. If I had to guess, my guess would have been that Emu doesn't attempt to blow up Egghead. But there's so much info there that I feel like that wouldn't happen, right? I feel like he might use an attempt to try and kill the Straw Hats still. Because why would he try and destroy Egghead now? Because no one's there. But trying to destroy the Straw Hats I think still works. But I think that's too similar to what some little Mexican guessed for me to have that. So I have to come up with a new one. Okay, I like JWP, your prediction, because it's what I'm hoping for at some point as well. Kizaru... Hold on. Kizaru betrays Marines in some way. Ryan Dufour, thanks a lot for your first super ever, man. Thanks for the 5. I really appreciate it. We see in News Morgan's article about Vegapunk's message. Oh, shit. Already? He's like fast writer? I guess on the go, because we could see Morgan's just typing away or something. I'd still count it if we see Morgan's typing away, I'll still count it. We see Morgan's article or making an article about Vegapunk's message. I'm being extra lenient because it's your first super ever. Dylon, thanks for the 2s. Kuma succumbs to damage and dies on the Sunny? That would be fucking tragic. I feel like, especially with Bonnie just having had like such a powerful moment, that'd be really tragic. And I also wonder, I still feel like some sacrifice is warranted for Kuma, some final moment, but I don't know how he would do it now with Saturn and the villains so far away. Let's see. Whoops. Kuma succumbs to damage and dies on the Sunny. What if it's like this, which is like, I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to do a prediction. I'll do a prediction. I'll do a fun prediction. I'll do a kind of bold one. All right? Similar to what I'm doing this right now, okay? It's more specific. So it's more specific than Some Little Mexicans, so I'm allowed to do it. Okay, it's more specific, so I'm allowed to do it. Yeah, can't take someone else's prediction and just add a twist. Must be a significant addition to the prediction. Okay, so I'm doing this, okay? I'm going to say Emu fires weapon at Straw Hats. Kuma uses Paw Fruit, maybe Awakening, for one last move to deflect it. Dies in process. And that's me. Bold prediction, I think. Let's see if it works out. I think that could be cool. Because we were all talking about the self-destruct. I'm like, well, the Paw Fruit has to have some sort of a limit, right? So maybe deflecting the weapon could be its limit, but it still works enough that he survives. Who knows? Dimian Wright, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 12 months. Kizaru resolves to kill Saturn somehow. I would love that, personally. Kizaru resolves to kill Saturn somehow. And he could get away with it, too. There's nobody else there. Umair, thanks for the 2. Elbaf Island reveal. Oh, shit. Full island shown in huge page. I would love that. I feel like we're still wrapping up at Egghead, so I'm not sure that's going to happen, but let's see. Full island shown in huge page. I feel like that might happen once we get there, because I think Oda likes to save those huge island reveals for when the Strahds actually get there. All right. Someone whose name is in Japanese says he could just use the Paw Fruit to move the boat. Oh, man, that's actually so much. Well, I can't take my prediction down now, but that's actually... Listen, he doesn't have a brain anymore. He's not going to be able to think of that. Leave him... Beanie Head says, why would he kill him, though? Why would he kill Saturn? I don't know. I do think that Kizaru might hold a grudge against the world government at this point, but it's hard to say. He could just use the Paw Fruit to move the boat. It's so simple. Let me add this new section being added. Whoops. Luffy learns what Nika is. I am curious, because I feel like the Giants could explain to him, right? And literally anyone could, because Bonnie's there, the Giants are there. I wonder if Robin knows about Nika. Is that established yet? I don't think it's established whether Robin knows about Nika or not yet, right? Yeah, surely we first get the post Egghead wrap up chapters. I do think that it's more likely that before we jump ahead to stuff like, you know, Elbaf and maybe even Dragon's Bounty, I do think it's likely that we'll get some wrap up at Egghead first. I don't know. I think that that's a little bit more likely to happen initially, and then we transition. Braxton Hart says, I don't know, man. The Bonnie / Luffy versus Saturn final panel felt underwhelming for some reason, hoping we get a few more chapters before the close. I think it's partly because it felt like... and I'm going to do a poll in a second about how you guys felt about the Egghead finale. I still need to see the arc wrap to really sort my feelings on it. Because at moments I was like, this is my favorite arc post-time skip. And one of my favorite arcs, like top few ever in One Piece. In other moments I'm like... it feels like a little bit uneven, and it succumbs a bit to a lot of the other problems that post-time skip arcs have, which is just too much going on when like the really meaty, juicy storylines could be focused on a bit more. I wonder what the fuck happened with Kaku and Stussy. And this is a very curious climax, because it's somewhere in the middle of... We've never really had a climax like this before. We've had storylines where, like, the Straw Hats are defeated, right? Sabaody, stuff like that. Like Sabaody or Marineford, right? This isn't that. We've had storylines where the Straw Hats aren't the ones to beat the final villain, and it's some outside force, like Zunisha and Zoe. This is kind of that. But it's also kind of somewhere in the middle, where it's like, this is a storyline where the Straw Hats get big fights against the villains, but at the same time, the fights end up being not the focus, the speech is the focus, and then it's resolved by some outside force, Deus Ex Machina, which is Joy Boy's not, right? We've never really had an arc like this, which is why it feels a little abrupt in the way that it ended. And the Luffy and Bonnie defeating Saturn in the grand scheme of things became a very minor figure in the big finale. He was always the primary antagonist of the arc, so seeing Luffy and Bonnie defeat him felt good, but at the same time it felt almost inconsequential in resolving the larger conflict of the arc. Plus Saturn got up the very next chapter, so it was more symbolic than anything. So it's kind of like Luffy and Bonnie get the win against the bad guy of the arc, but the bad guy of the arc no longer even feels like the main bad guy of the arc. He's just like a tiny little bad guy. The win actually also doesn't matter. And it's all resolved with the big Joy Boy hockey release, which is really cool, but it's all sudden, and it's kind of like, I think a lot of readers were hoping for a bit more meat on the bone in terms of the way the arc would resolve. Like, I know a lot of people still want to see more Zoro Venus Juro. I know a lot of people were still hoping that Sanji gets some stuff, or like Frankie gets a bit more stuff. He did get to help against Mars, so did Sanji help against Mars. I think it's hard to say. Like, I think I just need to read the arc and see, and I don't want to speak too soon until we kind of... until we see a little bit more about whether or not the arc is actually coming into a close, or if there's some more to it. Remix King, thanks a lot. And we will be next stream will be the I'll be reacting to stuff in general, right? So next stream will be we'll have time for some more Pokemon adventures, which is actually apparently enjoyable to you crazy people in chat. Also, you guys get to enjoy my very poor lack of Pokemon knowledge, basically only from watching the show as a kid. Yamato and Denjiro have a convo about her quest. That's cool, a cover story prediction. Yeah, those work too. Those definitely work too. Here, let me give you guys a poll here real quick. If this is the end, how did you feel about Egghead finale? If this is the end. This is just the finale, not the whole arc. So, you know, even if I am mixed feelings about the finale right now, that doesn't change how much I loved Kuma's backstory and a lot of the really, really cool shit that we did get throughout the arc. I need to sit with my feelings on the finale, and I think I need to reread, and also obviously just wait to see if it is the finale. But yeah, if this is the end. So just judging the finale. Just judging the finale. Not whole arc. Okay. Yamato dies in a cover story? I don't know if that's going to happen, man. I still hope that Yamato turns into a great character. I feel like she's got a ton of potential for growth. All right, so overall sentiment is positive. Overall sentiment is positive. I'll just let the poll sit for a second. I'm kind of curious. RM MX DJ says Zoro versus Lucci was a Sanji versus Page 1 moment. Lol, we should get some gas in the anime. I mean, the anime, I think it's undeniable now, right? Like, the anime does really, really like Zoro. Zoro versus Lucci, the funny thing about it is, like, well, sorry, if you compare, like, when Zoro fought the Seraphim in the anime, which wasn't even really a real scene, they went crazy with that. Like, a scene that wasn't a scene, they were like, this is going to be the best Zoro fight scene. Like, right up there with King, right, visually. So Zoro versus Lucci, which is an actual fight, I think they will go kind of nuts with it. Stephen Guy, thanks for the 5. Kuma will peacefully pass away due to his injuries after all the stress and conflict is relieved and Bonnie is safe. Unfortunately, we've got that already here from Dylon. Do you want to give another guess, Stephen Guy? You don't have to super again. I'll just watch out for it. I Show Speedy says after Luffy defeats Kizaru, his bounty jumps to 4.2 billion. Okay, so a Luffy bounty jump. Adonai Gebreyohanes says prediction: Kid and Law do some shit to impress Morj. That will literally never happen. Stop talking crazy, y'all. Luffy bounty jump. I can throw that in. You were kind of specific with it, I Show Speedy, but I might give you the credit even if you're wrong about it. Because that's what I said with Dragon. Luffy bounty increase to 4.2. I feel like it should be higher. Like, he's been fucking beating up the Gorosei, right? Like, isn't that a big taboo? Aren't you really not supposed to do that shit? FFINI, thanks for the 5. Not sure if this is too vague, but potentially another panel of Emu and the Giant Straw Hat. Maybe some small dialogue by Emu about Joy Boy lore. Yeah, I think that's we can work with that. We can work with that. Panel of Emu and Giant Straw Hat plus dialogue by Emu about Joy Boy lore. And that's from FFINI. I think the totality of that makes it specific enough. Baby Morj says, rank these Yonko children. Marco, Katakuri, Yamato. That's fun. But Marco's not technically... I mean, are we saying biological children? If we're just saying children in general, then, like, Ace... You know? Are you saying in terms of strength? What are you saying? Saying in terms of strength? In terms of strength, I think it's Yamato, Marco, Katakuri. In terms of how I like them as characters, Yamato's last. Katakuri's a really cool character. It just feels like his relevance in the story was such a blip, whereas Marco's is more recent. I think when when Whole Cake Island was going on, I liked Katakuri a lot. So I'll say Katakuri. It's been a bit, right? You know, like, I was really loving Capone Beige during Whole Cake Island, but he was my favorite supernova for a long time, but it's just been so long since we've seen him that part of that sort of faded, you know? And I haven't revisited Whole Cake in a minute, like, in terms of reading it. Finny, so it's pronounced Fin-E, says Finny. Also, it's pronounced Finny. Okay, sounds good. Did Stephen Guy make another prediction? Again, you don't gotta super it. I'll just catch it. Dylon, thanks for the 2. Emu severs link with and kills Saturn. Oh, shit. That would be so cool. I think that's really cool. You guys seen that shit? Emu severs link. That would be really cool if we see that. Severs link with and kills Saturn for failure. That's a really cool prediction. I like that a lot. I would love to see a scene like that. Because, again, I think... Okay, so fun fact. So if you go back, right... I talked about this last stream, but I was able to actually do some checking again. If you go back, right? Let's see. You go back to the Gorosei talking to each other. Is it here? Might be a little... Okay, yeah. So, the Gorosei have not been around since the Void Century. The Gorosei were not around for Joy Boy. The Gorosei do get cycled out to some degree. We know they're old, We know that they're old because Saturn was the same age as he is now when he spoke to Kuma. But we have some evidence that the Gorosei are not immortal already from 1084 or something. No, I guess it's after 1086. It should be the revolutionaries talking about this shit. Yeah. So there's two factors that reveal that the Gorosei are not immortal. Okay, they are very long. They have very long lives, but they're not immortal because first of all, the revolutionaries say that they're talking about how there potentially might be somebody who has immortality, right? But they're talking about it like it's very hypothetical and impossible. It's said that the means to create everlasting life exists in this world. Well, someone has to have it. Someone out there has been living for ages and ages without dying. So they're freaked out, but they're just they're just like, holy shit, there's somebody out there that's been living forever. And they know about the Gorosei. The Gorosei are fucking public figures. They even talk about the Gorosei here. They're not talking about that. They're like, wait, there's somebody that's immortal out there? So that's a freaky thought to them, which means that it's known for a fact publicly that the Gorosei are not immortal. The Gorosei are public figures. It's like if they're the most public fucking government figures in the world. It's like fucking Joe Biden, right? Imagine if they're like 5 Joe Bidens, you know? So everyone knows, like everybody's aware if the Gorosei are immortal or not, right? Obviously, they've been living very long lives, but they can't be immortal because the revolutionaries are making it very clear here that they don't consider the Gorosei to be immortal, and it's freaky to think that there might be someone who's immortal, right? Everyone, the world would know if the Gorosei are immortal. The Gorosei are not immortal. They have not been around since the Void Century. The flip side is, we see from the Gorosei that they themselves talk about the fruit is only a legend now, even to us, right? They don't know about it. If you go back and piece together, because there's several scenes where the Gorosei talk about the reawakening of the Nika fruit. The Nika fruit, the Gorosei were not around for the original, the origins of the Nika fruit. They weren't around for the Void Century battle. They weren't around for Joy Boy. They have not seen the Nika fruit awakened. They're even confused why the Nika fruit was given another name. So they weren't around for that period of time. That's ancient history even to them. You can go, it's not even just this page. You can go and piece together all of their panels of them talking about the Nika fruit in the end of Wano. They weren't around for that shit. That's new to them. This is a legend even to them, right? That fruit is a legend even to us, right? In general, they have not seen the Nika fruit awaken before. To them, it's just like something that they heard is really, really bad for them. So the Gorosei are not immortal. This helps me believe that it's possible that Imu created them, and Imu might even punish them and erase them if they disobey him. People have talked about how the Gorosei have scars. How could they have scars? Maybe for punishment by Imu for their failures. I don't know. Diaklia, thanks a lot for being a Yonko tier member for 20 months. Long time no see, Morj. How's life? Really good. How about you? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a supporter for so long, regardless of maybe not being able to see every stream, but you know. Factory... Life's been good. I'll just say that. Life's been good. Factory Cow, thanks for your first super ever. Bonnie Distorted Future, Gear 6th. I view that... Okay, while I appreciate your first super ever, we're not going to include... We're not going to include joke predictions. I believe that this is a joke prediction, so for that reason, I'm not going to include it. But if it turns out to be correct, you know what? I will just I'll remember. Obviously, if we see Gear 6, I'll remember that somebody said that this would happen. We'll come back and still give you credit. Akash Panda says, my internet got knocked out for 7 minutes. What did I miss? No, just an examination of how the Gorosei are likely not immortal, have not been around for the Void Century, and it's very possible that Imu could punish them for failure, as Dylon suggested. Oh shit! Ibrahim Camera says, Oda's editor said that there'll be one last major event in Egghead that will shake the One Piece world. What do you think that'll be? Is that what the editor said specifically, or did they just say one last major event? Because the major event could just be Joy Boy's hockey, you know? Meek says, hey, how's the stream going? Good! How's the... Meek is a translator for TCB. Um, can I ask right now? Do you guys think that the chapter will be out not this Thursday, but next Thursday or Friday? How's that looking? I'm sorry, Diaklia. I'm happy you're still able to catch VODs and stuff, but I understand if it's harder to actually catch streams with, I don't know, work, school, life just gets complicated, right? Kosh Panda says, I think it was just Joy Boys Hockey. Yeah, Joy Boys Hockey is a pretty big deal. Aisha Speedy says, I think it has to do more with more than just hockey. I think overall people feel like the finale was good to great. Some people are mixed, but most people seem to be pretty happy with it. Let me do a quick poll here real quick. Is the arc is the climax of the arc over or still any big events? Over, just wrap up chapters from here. Still a big event left. Finished the translation earlier than normal, but Meek says he finished the translation earlier than normal, but forgot to send it to the typesetter. Plus, he was asleep, so it got delayed. Plus, a few other things. Shit happens. Sorry about that, man. I understand. Like sometimes you get shit done ahead of time, which almost makes it like then you can skip a simple step because you feel like I'm done with it. I'm good. You know. I have something similar where my image finder, who might be watching this stream, I don't know. But the person who finds the images for my videos, so I have to write out the instructions throughout the script of what images to get for each line. So sometimes when I've actually finished it ahead of schedule, then I feel so good. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm done. I can relax for the night. Then I forget to send it to him. Luckily, he's very conscientious, so he'll just go and check in the folders anyway to see if I finish it. But I gotta, sometimes I fucked up and done that. Okay, so most people feel like it's over, just wrap up chapters left. Some people, close to 40% of people think that there's still something big left. If I had to bet money, I would say it's over and just wrap up chapters left, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is like Oda lulling us into a false sense of security, and then there's one last thing. Flashbacks to Whole Cake Island. I think pretty much everyone felt like shit was done after the tea party, you know? Jamal, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 17 months. Thanks a lot for the support, man. I'm predicting Saturn deals with Emeth quickly and goes after the Sunny, then Kuma sacrifices himself to deal with Saturn for good somehow. I'm surprised I haven't seen somebody predict that, like, Kuma sacrifices himself by going against Saturn. But let's see. Saturn deals with Emeth, goes after Sunny. Kuma steps up to sacrifice himself against Saturn. For this, Jamal, because this is something that could, if it does happen, it would take place likely over a couple chapters. Even if you're just kind of generally correct about the first part, I'll still give you credit. And then, you know, you get just extra credit if you're right about the Kuma sacrifice part. Factory Cow says, the big event won't be an egghead. If something else happens to delay their exit, it will ruin the climax of the giant robots' Joy Boy hockey burst. That's arguably also possibly true. But I think that, again, this is not the first time this shit has happened. I just remember, like, a lot of people felt like the perfect climax of Egghead, or of Whole Cake, was the big bomb going off, and that gets them all scot-free out, etc. And then, turns out we got 30 more chapters to go or some shit. Although, obviously, this is more of a character moment. It's not just a bomb going off, so it would feel different if this isn't the climax. I don't know. I would like that conclusion with Saturn and Kuma as well, personally. All right, guys, we're going to wrap stream in about a few minutes. We're going to wrap stream up in about a few minutes. And see if there's any last predictions, but otherwise we've got some good ones. The ones I'm liking so far, I don't know about Dragon's bounty being revealed. I could see Dragon having a crazy bounty. I just don't know if it's going to be revealed in the next chapter. Emo getting mad at the Gorosei, I believe that's very possible. Blackbeard arriving, I don't know. Okay, the ones that I really like here. Let's see. I like the idea of Emo getting mad at the Gorosei. I I would like some conversation between Emeth and Saturn about Void Sentry and or Joy Boy, although I don't think Saturn was around from the Void Sentry from context clues so far. I would love to see some Kizaru action in terms of like character something, some betrayal or something like that against the Marines or Saturn, but I don't know if that happens just yet. Anything with Kuma dying or sacrificing himself, I would love. Anything with that. Yeah, those are the main ones. More Emu dialogue, more Joy Boy lore. I would like that. I think my personal little favorite is Emu killing Saturn for failure. I think that would be really, really cool. Or actually, no, my personal favorite that I would love to happen would be Saturn going after them one last time and Kuma sacrificing himself. That would be my personal favorite because that closes that Kuma story. But I don't know if that's going to happen just because now I'm just starting to get that worrying feeling that Kuma's not going to die. You know, it's just... As long as he doesn't... At this point, I'm just hoping he doesn't get his brain back. That's all I can hope for. Otherwise, there'll be some conversations to be had. But it's not worth talking about those till we get there, you know? Snap, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 22 months, man. Thank you for the prolonged support, of course. Good that people are mixed if the arc is over. Very unpredictable. Egghead has been the best arc, so much information and cool moments, plus Seymour World. Okay, good that people are mixed on whether or not the arc is over. Yes, it has been a very, very unpredictable arc. Like, it's been a crazy unpredictable arc. Like, from... Even just the fact that it seemed like the Strats out of the blue, they're going to be fighting like a fucking admiral in the Buster Call. That nobody had that on their agenda. Like nobody predicted that when Egghead started. And then for that to switch to like, oh, really? It's about like the Strats versus Saturn and all this shit. And then it's like Strats versus all the Gorosei and Joy Boy's Haki is released. And like Blackbeard pirates are there. And all the shit at the Reverie and Hachinosu and Shanks and Kid. And then all like how beautiful Kuma's story was and Bonnie's story, like just so much unpredictability and lore. It has definitely been one of the most unpredictable One Piece arcs like ever, easily down to the way that it ended, no question. All right, guys. Andrew Anami says, as long as Kuma gets a limp, I'm fine. Morj, yeah, I'll just keep shifting it back and back. Like, just please don't let him be okay. I really do believe that Kuma dying is the best thing for his story. I think it's actually really, really important, but I think if he at least doesn't get his consciousness back, that's like, it would still be okay. I think anything beyond that, of him like getting his consciousness back and like happy ending and like ride off into the sunset with like Bonnie, just like Kiros and Rebecca did, I think that would be downright bad, personally. But we'll get to that conversation if it gets that far. I'm still going to hold that faith for now. Anon KK, let's say this is the last one. Last prediction, unless something else pops up. I predict Shanks going after the man marked by flames. All right, we can throw that in. Shanks goes after man marked by flames. Some people believe that's even his brother. So, you know, anything's possible. Stephen Guy has a super chat reattempt, so we'll go with this before the stream closes. Stephen Guy says, I think we'll see the big factions planning their next moves post Vegapunk message. Okay, if we get several of them, then I'll give it to you. If we get just one or something, I don't think that I can give it to you. Because I said reaction must be specific. I said can't include reaction shots. This is more than a reaction shot. Okay, we'll do it. If we get a few, I'll give it to you. Several big factions. Yonko, Revs, Marines, planning their next move. Hiyo, thanks for the 5. Honestly, kind of crazy for Oda to tease Gorosei and then show them in one arc. Yeah, because the Reverie scene teased them, and then we were excited because we're like, oh shit, and Saturn's going there. And then we're getting to see all of their transformations in one go. It's fucking insane, honestly. The Goat, thank you for being a Pirate King tier member for 2 months. I hope you were able to get your Pirate King podcast submission in. I'll be recording that tomorrow during the day, and it'll go up for you guys on Wednesday. So still time to get it in. So thank you very much for being a supporter. I hope you got your submission in for that. Not a prediction, but do you think there's any chance that the Giant Strat is a giant bomb/hockey seal? Well, now it's possible. I think a hockey seal would be doing it multiple times would be kind of like they just have Joy Boy's hockey to get him out of any trouble that they get into. I think that'd be a bit much, but it's definitely possible. I don't think it has his hockey. I'm gonna say I don't think it has his hockey. I'll say that. Prediction: Emu gets ready to use the ancient weapon for Lulusia/Egghead. The goat. Unfortunately, that's we've already basically got that territory covered. Do you want to do a backup prediction before I close stream? You don't have to super or anything. I'll just see your chat if it pops up. I'll give you 2 minutes to think on that, and then I'm gonna close stream. Unfortunately, we've already got something adjacent to that there. Ibrahim Camera says, is there a break next week? There's no chapter this week, but there will be a chapter next week. Idyllic Journey 000 says, literally, how would the arc be over? Like, seriously, Saturn still has to collect the Mother Flame, Punk Records, York, the Seraphim, and the Pacifistas at least 2 to 4 chapters before we leave. I agree. I think one of the reasons that people feel those are loose ends, you could say. But the tricky thing is that those are all loose ends on the villain side. For the Straw Hat side, pretty much everything is wrapped. They've got everything. They're out of there. It's just, I would like to see some resolution with Kuma's storyline that doesn't involve him getting his memories back. So all of the things that you mentioned, they're all on the villain side. So the reality is that if Oda's trying to be short for time, he could just establish in some future chapter that through conversation with the Gorse, they talk about how they were able to collect the Mother Flame, how the Seraphim have been secured. We could just show what has happened to York, whether they're actually allowing her to work with them or whatever. And they could establish that they resecured the Pacifista, right? They could just establish through conversation or through quick shots that these things have all been gathered, you know? PG24 says, Morj, I used my Yonko chat to say what's up, not knowing we would do predictions. Yeah, get one in, man. You could get one in. Matt says, we doing mod status for the art predictions like we did a while back? I got to go back and look at the arc predictions because I don't know if I jotted down who did what prediction. That's the problem. With this, we've been doing arc predictions. PG24, if you got a prediction, just say it right now. And the goat, go ahead and say it real quick. Because I'm trying to wrap stream. I'm like hungry and shit. So if you can, please just get it in real quick, man. PG24 says, my prediction is we see the strats separating. Joseph Ebe is saying, Morj, do I have to donate to give a prediction? No, but usually it's easier for me to see it to stand out. If you got a prediction, just say it real quick. I'm wrapping it right now. Everything's being wrapped right now because I'm just tired, hungry. It's the end of the stream. Straw Hats separate. PG24. I think you predicted that last time? Or you were asking if that's going to happen last time? King G says Zoro kills Kaido next chapter. I'm not going to put that down. Colin MC, we already kind of got something adjacent for that. The GOAT, unless you got something else, I think I'm probably going to have to close stream right here. Joseph eBay, type your comment really quick. All right, ready? Get set. I'm going to give you a 3-second timer. All right, I think we're going to call stream here. We got some good predictions in. I like the Emu ones, potentially killing Saturn, Emu firing the weapon I'm always going to like, anything Kizaru character change related, and Kuma sacrifice related I'm always going to like. So I think next chapter is an extraordinarily difficult chapter to predict, but I would not be surprised if some of you guys' prediction here is correct, because I think people did get some stuff that seems kind of accurate, like it could happen. All right, everybody. I'm going to call stream here. Thanks for tuning in. That was a fucking sick Galaxy Impact animation. Like, that was a really, really cool attack animation. Whether it's too much, whether it's too overdone. Look, I'm not like a huge anime enjoyer at this point, so for me, I'm only really tuning in for the big flashy moments as is. So for me, it was entertaining. That's it. That's all I could say. It was entertaining. It's cool. It's hype. It's exciting. That's all I gotta say. If I was a regular anime viewer watching episode after episode, then I might feel something more where I'm like, that feels like too much, or it feels like they're overdoing it, etc. For me here, I feel like, it's supposed to be a really big moment. It's supposed to be the biggest visual display of hockey that we've ever had. With the anime already being so over the top with a lot of their displays of hockey, when you get to one as big as Galaxy Impact, then of course they're going to have to like top everything they already did by like another mile. So that's what we kind of get, which is like basically literally a nuclear explosion. Not literally, figuratively, but also literally visually close to a nuclear explosion. So you know what I'm saying. All right, but still fun to watch. I'm happy I watched that episode. I'm happy I watched pretty much the entire episode. It was entertaining. All right, everybody, we're going to call it right there. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you all later.